Oh, Jeff's not on yet.
Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon master this evening. Now, this is the second time we've done this so far tonight because we had a bit of a computer problem. And when I say we, I mean me. Had some computer issues. So what we're going to do is do a very quick recap of what happened last session. The players and I have gone through it once already, so they're aware of what happened. Tonight we are playing session 3 of our ongoing 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons campaign. So playing. With me tonight, I'll do the intros this time because we already went through the. James is playing Ember. Brent is playing Halen. What's Halen's last name again? Windspeaker. Dave is playing Rackus Bloodhoof. You know what, Dave? Could you go into Brent's computer on Roll20 and change his name to Halen? If you go to the cog, you'll be able to change his display name.
Got it.
That way we... Yeah, and then Jeff is playing Oberon, the Rackus and Oberon Bloodhoof. So Rackus and Oberon are two giant Minotaur brothers. Last session saw our heroes face a bunch of nasty goblins and successfully come out of that, the mostly unscathed, and with one significant treasure, which is the Cloak of the Walking Wounded, which Oberon is now wearing. And in addition, a bunch of ritual texts as well, too. Last session also saw a bit of an unusual occurrence with Xavier, who's actually not here right now. Xavier is the small child who seems to have come from somewhere else and seems to have knowledge beyond his years. Xavier placed his hand in a open flame. It charred black and then flaked to be reveal red scales, and then to reveal gold, to change light to or change color to become golden scales, and then to disappear altogether. Where we left our heroes was with them arriving in Drellin's Ferry, I believe. Is that right? Yeah, Drellin's Ferry. After journeying from Overlook all the way over the Wormsmoke Mountains and then down into Drellin's Ferry. So that is where we're picking up our adventure. Guys, what you find as you're making your way down towards Drellin's Ferry is there's a copy of this map on your handouts as well, I think. And I think I've given you all access to it. So when we're not on this page, if you do want to look at the map for Drellin's Ferry, that's the way to access it. I'm going to make our avatar small again too, so we don't need to take out the launch. Okay, so coming down into Drellin's Ferry, basically the last hour or so of travel has been through, maybe actually the last half hour of travel has been through cultivated farmland. After traveling through the wilds of the Wormsmoke Mountains and the West Deep. This is actually a welcome sign of civilization. We sort of pick up as you guys are coming down towards the Elsier River here, where this giant dwarf-built bridge used to span this river, but several centuries ago, this really once in a century flood or once in several centuries, I suppose, flood, it actually destroyed the bridge, washing it away and leaving only the support structures. But since then, a enterprising dwarf has set up a ferry, and through the generations, it has continued to operate, and it has given rise to the name for this community now. So. As you guys are heading down, what you're again passing along the road, you're seeing these cultivated farmlands. The road that you've been following, incidentally, too, is part of what's called the Dawnway. The Dawnway is a road that, a road that was built by the dwarves back in time immemorial. Because you may remember that the Elsier Vale itself used to be part of a vast dwarven civilization that had fallen into ruin long before the more recent empires had come and gone, including the Netheril Empire, the most recent empire to collapse roughly a century ago. But anyway, you guys are making your way down, and as you're making you're heading past these these big woods on the top of the where I'm pinging, I guess, right now. And these are like windbreaks that are set up. So this is part of it's not part of wild growth. It's actually, something that's been cultivated to protect the farmland from sweeping winds. But where that number 1 is located, you can actually see there's an old watchtower. And by old, I mean, built within the last, maybe the last 100 years. It's relatively, by comparison to the dwarven structures and like the cobblestones that you guys are walking across, it's a crudely made structure, but it gets the job done. This, however, does not appear to be occupied. Walking past it, it looks like it's in fairly poor repair. And then you make your way down towards the actual ferry itself. And as you're going down, you can see that there are 3 main structures there that are labeled as 16, 17, and 18. I'll do those in reverse order. What 18 is you can see there's those little dots that are in sort of a triangle adjacent to that building. That is actually a merchant's like a caravan, not a caravanserai, like a place you would sleep or whatnot, but a place that's specifically designed to supply caravans. There are a couple animals in the yard. There appears to be 1 or 2 boats that are underneath big leather tarpaulins. And the first thing you think, Halen, is, wow, I'll bet you I can get cold weather clothes in there. I know you're thinking about getting snares for Rakus to use when he's hunting, and to pick up some cold weather gear to assist with the next time you guys go over the mountains. I bet you, just judging from what's in the sort of window, that seems to be the kind of shop that would sell that stuff.
Awesome.
17 is a very drab-looking build, a sturdy and drab-looking building. There are not a lot of windows. There are a pair of really big doors in the front that appear to be secured with a big, like big beam and a giant iron kind of lock. You would guess that this is some kind of waterfront warehouse, because there are the only windows are very high up, and they're not really windows. They're more like, vents to have correct airflow or proper airflow through the place. The last thing you see is on your left as you're making your way down towards the ferry. At 16 is, it looks like an old garrison. Like it looks like kind of like not a keep, but like a fortified building. And Amber, you don't need to make a roll for this, but you recognize the design of that. So the last sort of major kingdom to have any kind of sway over the Elsyr Vale in general was the kingdom of Restalor. Restalor fell about 200 years ago. It was effectively, it was a first wave of the collapse of civilization that occurred between 200 and 100 years ago. Restalor was a client kingdom of the Netheril Empire, and then when the
Narath, you mean?
Narathi Empire, thank you, yeah. Netheril's Forgotten Realms. So when Restalor collapsed, it collapsed at the same time a bunch of other client kingdoms did, and then it finally resulted in Narath collapsing as well. Restalor, though, it stood for centuries, and when it fell from your recollection. You'd have to like really, jog your memory to recall very specifics about it. But what you remember is that it was a combination of supernatural threats, magical sabotage, and betrayal by one noble family. But what is unusual about this is while that is a, it was probably a guard keep of some kind, or like a garrison, because it looks like it fit a lot of people in it. You can see that there's been some specific modifications to it by a stonesmith, and you see something poking out the back where there is nice big puffy smoke that's coming out of it, and it's got a bit of an aroma to it as well too. How many of you guys have? I don't think anyone has actually been past here before, right?
No.
Nope.
No. Okay, so Halen's actually got the highest passive perception, but I don't know if he would recognize this. Oh, one thing I should mention as well is as you guys were making your way through the farmlands, you got that familiar butterfly feeling in your stomach, and you notice that Xavier has disappeared. So because of your long time experience with that particular bit of weird magic, you're not panicked by it, but he isn't here anymore.
I will never get used to that.
No, and there is a bit of you feel that, and you immediately sort of in a panic do the head count of who's there. And you realize it's Xavier that's gone, and I don't know, like how does Ember feel when she notices that it's Ember gone and not, or Xavier gone and not one of the other guys?
Relieved in a way.
So he's safe.
He's still a child, although we don't know where any of us go when they're not here. So who's to say that he's actually safe? But
yeah, okay,
safe of any threat that we're currently aware of.
So what Halen, I think you've got the best perception, so I'm going to say that you spot this. You can see there's actually a little sign that it looks like there's a relatively new iron bar that has been like drilled into the heavy drab, like gray slab stone that has a sign hanging from it. And the sign has in very crude carving, it says, and it's actually misspelled, it says brew house. And brew is spelled B-R-O-O. So you guys see that, and then you also see down near the actual bank is the ferry that I described before. There's like a bunch of posts that are set up in the actually the way they got it set up here, that's not how I'm picturing it. I think that the chain that sort of that the ferry sort of is dragged across is actually affixed to part of the I guess it wouldn't be. No, ignore me. It's the way it is on the map here, and there's the ropes that go across that bring these barges in, and you can see there's one big flat barge on one side of the river and one on the other side. Have you guys all seen Outlaw Josie Wales?
Nope.
Yep.
No? Okay, so Dave, Jeff, have you seen it before?
I don't think so.
Okay, so Dave, the ferry that they use in that when the guy keeps singing, he sings Dixie and then he sings the Union version of it, and then Josie shoots the thing and sends him downriver?
I don't remember that particular scene, but
okay. So first off, if you guys haven't seen the film, it's like one of Clint Eastwood's absolute best films.
Yeah.
Unforgiven is better. Fistful of Dollars, Good, Bad, and the Ugly is better, and it's probably right there, like right afterwards. Outlaw Josie Wales is fucking awesome, and there's tons of great quotable bits in it. If you've ever got a mixed CD from Chad, there will be excerpts from Outlaw Josie Wales on there. So anyway, it's also, last plug I'll put for it, it's the first of Clint Eastwood's revisionist westerns too. So if you enjoyed Unforgiven, you can see the first step towards that film in Outlaw Josie Wales. So, but anyway, what do you call it? You know what? Pale Rider is better than Outlaw Josie Wales, so it'll be fourth down in the list. Anyway, Clearly, that was important for our D&D session. I know. But so what you see, guys, is basically there are two big flat. If you picture sort of like just like very flat, sort of like oversized planks or crates that just float on the water, like a flat bottom boat that is just the only thing it does is it's dragged across. It's got two big like beams in it through which is stretched this really big heavy rope, and then the barges. There's at each end there are little kind of like spinning wheels that have horses, like draft horses attached to them. The horses walk around and they drag the barges back and forth across the river. There appears to be a small, like a setup of carpenters and some people who are keeping the horses down there as well. But the person who seems to be in charge is this short, black-haired dwarf fellow who seems to, he sees you guys making your way down or that you guys have come to the crest leading down towards him, and he sort of says, "Oh, good afternoon." So what would you guys like to do? There's the ferry there, there's the outfitting place, there's a brew house, and there is Drellin's ferry waiting for you across the river.
Yeah. I've got a couple things I'd like to buy, and I think we should get as a group anyway.
Yeah, I would like to.
We're in desperate needs of some warmer clothing, especially depending on where our travels take us.
Yeah.
I will join you, Halen.
Okay. How about the Bloodhoof brothers?
Rakus will throw a couple of silver pieces over at Halen and tell him, "I'll be over here," pointing to the brew house.
What are the silver pieces for?
Well, so you can pick up what you need for me.
Yeah. Rakus clearly does not have a great idea of what shit costs.
No.
Pick us up. So, Halen, do you bother to tell him it's 10 gold for cold weather gear?
No, because when we come to distribute gold, and this works to the rest of our advantage.
Okay.
We just give him his silver, and we keep that. We keep the gold.
Absolutely. Oh shit. Okay.
So this is a fortune.
Okay, so you get your you get some money from them. Oberon, what are you doing? Rakus seems to be heading his way to the brew house.
Yeah, I'll probably follow my brother.
Okay, so we'll do Amber and Halen first here. What I want to do though is, give me a sec. I was running Savage Worlds for Jeff last weekend and last week, and one of the things I really like about that is they've got a very simple way to generate NPC dispositions with a little bit of fun flair to it. I know that like every version of D&D has something like that, but I want to have an excuse to use cards tonight. So once I find that. We'll see how oh, here we go. So, Brent, why don't you give me a roll of 2d6,
Right.
please?
Ooh, nice.
Not necessarily.
Aw.
No, it actually is quite good. So you guys walk in, and there is a human. Hold on. Do I have? Let me see.
Which end do you put the money in?
No. Okay. So you guys walk in, and there's a gentleman, a human man who seems to be sort of like putting some stuff back on a shelf somewhere, and he's in his, I'll say, in his late 30s, and there's probably some, one or two staff members, which are probably family members, who are fussing around in the back of the house as well, and he looks up and looks over at you, and he says, "An elf and a tiefling." And then he kind of sits just like shocked for a bit, still kind of holding the folded up blanket in his hand.
Good day.
Yes, a very good day. Good, and welcome. I'm sorry. And he puts the stuffs the blanket into the onto the shelf, and he walks over, and he sort of is giving you the up and down, but it's in this sort of like really, he's fascinated.
Never seen.
By, okay. Yeah, or like rarely, if ever, seen something. And so he's looking at you guys, and he says, "What? Welcome to my store. This is I'm Sterile, Ben, and this is Ben's provisioning. I mean, Sterile's provisioning. Sterile's provisioning. Welcome to Sterile's provisioning."
Thank you.
And what can I help you with?
Provisions.
Provisions.
We are looking for some cold weather clothing.
Looking for cold weather clothing.
Something will do us well in the mountains.
You're going to the mountains. Of course. Just for the two of you then.
And our companions as well. A couple large folk as well.
Large folk? Do you mean big elves or tiefling or minotaurs? You can point out the window. There's a big window that he could look through. Like if you want to gesture, because you're seeing those two big minotaurs.
Yeah.
He looks out and he says, "Are those minotaurs?"
They are.
Walking bulls, they are.
And they're with you.
Indeed,
Yes.
they are.
An elf and a tiefling and minotaurs. Huh. Do I have them in their size? I don't suppose that you don't know their. No, you wouldn't know their sizes. Yes. So clothing for them and clothing for you two. So 4 in total.
5.
5. Is there another minotaur? And he looks out the window again.
There's a young boy who's not currently with us, but when he rejoins us, he will require some as well.
Oh, a boy. How old?
Out of character, I'm going to say like 16.
I think he's younger. I think he's like between 12 and 14. That's the way that probably closer to 14. Let's split the difference between the two.
Well, yeah, we'll say 14, and if it's not, he'll grow into it.
He's gonna look like that kid from Christmas Story.
Definitely get him a one-piece snowsuit.
Yes. Okay, so he what do you call it? He says, "Yes, I can accommodate that. Absolutely, certainly, absolutely. And is that?
Would you happen to have some snares?
And you which? Sorry.
Snares. Would you also happen to have some snares?
Yes, of course. For prey, small prey or larger game. Because we have it. He walks over and he shows you sort of like there's like rabbit snares and like squirrel snares and stuff like that. He says, and kind of gestures to like giant like bear or like griffin trap.
The smaller, just to help, if in case we run out of provisions, it'll assist with gathering more food.
The rabbit snares would suffice.
Oh, of course. How foolish. Of course. Why would you need to carry around something like that when you have something like that? And he points out the window at the back end of the minotaurs who are walking their way in towards the brew house. Certainly. Let me see. I can deal with this. And you can see there's a kid who is on the sort of second story where they seem to have some like storage upstairs. And he's kind of looking down through the railing at you guys and just kind of, his eyes are big. More so looking at, I think, you, Ember, because Halen, you look kind of like an unusually pretty and lithe, but still fairly close to human. Ember looks nothing like a human.
So I
look more like the minotaurs.
I take it you do not get many elves, tieflings, or minotaurs in these parts.
Not as of no. The elves who dwell in the Witchwood are not the most sociable types. And oh God! And he stops and he looks at you, and like all color has drained from his face. He says, "Are you from the Witchwood?"
No, I actually forget the peaks, right?
Yeah, Wormsmoke Mountains.
Right. No, no, I'm not. It's okay.
Are the elves of Witchwood?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, good friend. Give us a deal on. Give us a deal on on your wares, and then we'll and then join us for a beer at the at your pub or tavern.
At the
and then you can ask us any questions that you would.
At the brew house, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. He says, well, sorry, do you mean at the Old Bridge Inn or the Green Apple?
The one that point out the window where my companions are going.
Hi, Laura.
Oh.
Hi, Caitlin.
Are you say goodnight to the camera?
Oh, someone is ready for bed, I think. How are you, Wiener?
Kiss.
Good night, Caden.
See ya.
Okay.
All right.
So, I think that was a random encounter.
Yeah, pretty much.
What he asked was, do you mean in the Green Apple or in the Old Bridge Inn?
Whichever one my friends are entering right now across. I'll point out the window.
Oh, no, that's not. That is the brewery. That's Gausler's brewery. Do they know Gausler?
No, we mistook it for a tavern.
Oh, well, I suppose he may have wares to sell, but his are available in his brews are available in both the Old Bridge Inn and the Green Apple. Are you?
One thing you'll learn about
now?
Minotaurs is they are not burdened with an abundance of brains.
We are. I'll crack a little bit of a smile at that one, and then looking at the silver in my hand, and then.
So he takes it.
And then I say we're not familiar with your town, and we have yet to cross the ferry.
Oh, so you're heading into town then?
Yes.
So
is that where the inns are? I'm assuming
they are both inns. There's the Green Apple that Tharma runs, and there is the Old Bridge Inn that the Shadowbanks clan runs. Are you hoping for more sumptuous accommodations or something more on the budget?
I think we are going to, after we have spent many a night on the road, I think we are going to treat ourselves to
luxury
comfort for a night or two.
Then if I might offer a suggestion, then I think perhaps you may find more what you were looking for at the Old Bridge Inn with the Shadowbanks than you'd find at the Green Apple. The Green Apple is a perfectly serviceable establishment, but Tharma can be quite pointed in her observations.
All right. Well, thank you. Perhaps then you can join us for a pint later on.
I may. We shall. I will try my best. So did you have a question there, James?
Emmer's kind of curious. Who are the Old Bridge Inn? You say they're run by the Shadow Banks clan?
Yes, they are one of the Halfling River clans that settled in Drellin's Ferry around the time when the community was founded.
Okay.
Let's see here. Why don't you? Okay, geez, I don't think any of you guys would. None of you guys are trained in Streetwise, so I think that if Steve does join us, maybe a thief might be a good addition to the group. Let me see here.
No.
Dave, why don't you give me a an intellect check for me? Are you trained in an intellect skill or intelligence skill?
I don't think so, but let me check.
Okay, let me see here. I don't think so either. Okay, so Dave, just give me a give me a history check, and we'll add plus 5 to the result.
Okay.
Okay. No, you. I was just seeing whether you may have come across. I was using your background as a Bloodhoof clan exile to see if you had maybe come across, any talk about the Shadowbanks clan. But none of you guys have traveled in those circles. So, yeah, but I mean, he says the selling point that he gives for the Old Bridge Inn is quite convincing. So he supplies all your stuff for you, Brent, and he says, if you're heading over the mountains, it's been quite dangerous recently. He sort of looks around. He says, "Do you know of the Red Hand?"
We've heard of them.
We've encountered. We think we may have encountered some of their followers.
His eyes kind of get big, and he says, "Really?"
A group of goblins that seem to have severed the hands of their victims and placed them on the shields.
Oh,
they seem to
God.
use this hand symbol.
Oh, he seems genuinely taken aback by this. Just as a refresher,
this was what, Kev, about a day or two outside of town?
It was within, it would have been about 3 days ago, 3 or 4 days of travel ago.
3 days travel outside of town.
3 days travel outside of. Oh. We had a local caravan that traveled in that direction, headed or bound for Overlook, roughly a week ago.
We saw their remains.
Oh no!
Whose caravan was it? Was it
local? A local merchant consortium. It was two brothers who ran a merchant interest who hired locals to act as protection for the caravan and general laborers. That is a lot of newfound widows, then. And if the Red Hand is back, how did you survive them?
We dispatched most of the goblins.
You killed them?
That's what you get when you bring 2 minotaurs to a goblin party.
I see. Well, that's terrific news. Tell me, was there anything left of the caravan?
I did recover this ledger and Amber will pull the ledger out of her side bag.
Yeah, and you've got some other like personal effects, the kind of thing that wedding rings, stuff like that, like family crests. So he says, "Oh my, you recovered this back? You must speak to the. You must meet with the town speaker. This will provide some small comfort for those widows. And this was most thoughtful of you to do so. Thank you. I'm sure that they will thank you in a more meaningful way, but that is incredible. Now, just as a reminder, guys, like 20 years ago or so, that was when that massive like red hand horde, came out of spilling out of the Worms Smoke Mountains down here. Excuse me. It actually raised Drellin's Ferry during that, assault by the horde before it finally broke at Brindol, which is about 4 days' journey east of here, where you'll be heading as well. Now you think of it too, that watchtower that you saw outside, not the one where the brewery is, but that more recently made watchtower. You were to guess, maybe that thing's been sitting abandoned for about 20 years. So he says, "Well, that's wonderful. How many goblins? I mean, the size of the. We've heard rumors, tales from those who have had dealings with hobgoblins and other creatures. They've said that they've assembled a massive horde under someone named Sinrith, a vicious hobgoblin who says he is an heir to the earlier horde."
We never encountered him.
Did you encounter Sinrith?
We don't believe so. We encountered perhaps, I don't know, a dozen or so goblins.
I think you guys killed about 20 or so in total. Like
20? Okay.
50? Amber's saying 50? Okay. Oh, that's a
10 apiece.
One was named Bunta, I believe.
I'm not sure if you, the players, knew that it was Bunta. I told you the character, or the characters knew that it was Bunta. He may have actually screamed his name out. So, you can say that, and he says Bunta. I don't know of any, but maybe if you speak with the out of towners in the Green Apple or in the Old Bridge Inn, maybe they could shed some light. But that's most impressive. Thank you for letting us know that the road is now clear, or as clear as it can be. You know what? I'm sure they will have a proper thank you for you, but please, I have something for you. I have it down here. It won't be a minute. Just a moment. And he's rustling behind the counter, pulling out a bunch of small little chests, opening them and saying, like, "Oh no, that's not in there." He says, here it is. This is what I looked for. No, it wasn't this box. It was in another box. I believe this box here. The kid, incidentally, is still just staring at you. He seems to be chewing on some kind of jerky or something. And is just, not moving and just chewing and staring. Yes, here we are. Please. And he opens up the box, and there are two, kind of like, they're flat but rounded on the side, and they have small markings. Does anyone speak Draconic or read Draconic? Ember, you do.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, so Ember, you look at this, you recognize this as Draconic script. He says, these I had a mercenary trade these to me for some gear. Please, I have no use for these. These have sat for years, and I'm not sure I could make the money back that I sold on them. So please take them. Amber, you take a quick look at these. What they are is they are. What he says is that the mercenary said to run them across your blade, and they will enchant them for a brief time. They will lend their enchantment to them. They can only be used once, but please take them. So what they are, guys, is an augmenting whetstone. So each of these, take a minor action, touch the whetstone to a melee or ranged weapon, and then it gains a +2 enchantment bonus on attack rolls and damage rolls until the end of the encounter.
All right, say that again.
It's 2. We're getting echoes from somebody. Who am I getting echoes from? I don't know. Let's take a look. Here, Marco. Oh, Jeff, it's you.
Oh.
Well, I think it's because you haven't talked in a while, so maybe you're.
Oh, maybe I'm just very quiet.
Yeah. So what it is augmenting whetstone. You can touch it against your ranged weapon or melee weapon, and it'll have +2 to attack and damage until the end of the encounter. I'll be right back, guys. I just got to run to the washroom very quickly.
The next time we play, I'll have to make arrangements for that in December. I don't know how you want to do it, but if that's something we want to.
Oh, yeah.
That's something I want to do.
I'll be right back.
2 weeks.
Go through 14.
Like maybe every few days or so. Even on the days that you have the girls, if I drop by or you came over, does that work?
Yeah, sure.
You guys seen the new Thor movie?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
It was a hoot. It was it was
Sorry,
a total blast. I think I expected it to be less comical than it actually was, but
Which one is this?
The new Thor
That's if they've seen the new Thor.
Oh, yeah. I saw it last weekend. And it was awesome. I mean, that was one of the best, what do you call it? One of the best of the Marvel films.
It was really. It reminded me of Part Planet Hulk, and then there was an Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes episode where they end up on Asgard.
It was just. To be honest, it has.
It was awesome.
A lot more of the. Walt Simonson was the artist and writer who worked on Thor in like the mid '80s, and it's my favorite run on Thor ever. And this had so many elements from that in here, and it was so different from any other comic film, right?
It was really good. Like right now, it's blown in terms of money. It's brought in. It's beat the other 2 Thor movies in like the first couple of weeks it's been out. Like
that's not very hard.
No,
but I'm hoping that reinforces that. Hey, we did something good. We'll try and do this again. Versus.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I liked about it as well is that it didn't just ignore the first 2 Thors. It did what comics do all the fucking time, which is retcon, right? Because where they had Odin as like, Jesus Viking King in the first films, they're like, where do you think all this fucking gold came from? Like, of course he was fucking raping and pillaging. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Okay, so anyway, is there anything else you want from Ben before you guys leave? Yeah, what you get out of him after he stammers his way through. His name is Ben Sterrel, Sterrel.
Not very good name.
Sterrel's Provisionings. So, so Ben, he agrees to meet you for a drink afterwards. if there's not anything else you want from here, you do have to pay for the cold weather gear, but you get the whetstones for free. So the cold weather gear will be 50 gold. The snares is 5. Is that right, Brent? Or is it
think
5 or
thereabouts.
2?
I don't have the book offhand.
Okay. Was it in Mordenkainen's?
Yeah.
I got it right here. Let's see.
I think it was page 200s thereabout.
It is only a 150-page book, so...
Well, then I lie a lot.
Maybe this is like Mary Poppins.
It was
like a TARDIS book, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is under.
There was like a short gear section. It's where
I can't remember.
I found it. Page 124.
124. Awesome. Thanks, James. Okay.
10 gold.
Yeah, 10 gold. I knew the cost of the cold weather gear. I just didn't know the snares are 5 gold. Yeah, so 55 in total. Who is tracking their gold? Who is the bank?
Shit. What was our party gold?
Oh, if you didn't remember, you got
me.
I remember we got like 180 something from last session, but I don't know what we had before that.
Nothing. Yeah, you had
All right.
effectively nothing left over. At least nothing meaningful. So, okay, so if you had James, was it 180?
Yep.
Okay, so that means you are down to 125 then. But you got 2 whetstones. Who would like to take the whetstones?
Well, I'll grab one right now, and I'll leave one with Ember, and then we can pass them out when we meet up with everyone else.
What I want to know is who's going to end up with them, just so we know who has them.
How does that work with my key folk? Can I still use it on my spear or longbow?
You can use it in your spear or your longbow, but it wouldn't translate to your monk powers, I don't think, because those are hand-to-hand. So you would have to use it. To be honest, it's not really a great value for you or for Ember.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll pass it to the Minotaurs then.
Okay. So I'll assume each of you guys has one of those. Okay. So we'll cut now to the 2 Minotaurs walking up to what they think is a tavern. So Rackus, you make your way up towards the door, and you're the one who gets there first. What do you do?
Well, I'll try to open the door.
Okay, so you sort of test the door, and sort of the door seems to. Well, no, maybe. I think the door opens. So the door opens, and you step inside, and what you find inside is that there are all sorts of big brass or I guess it's brass, brass canisters and pipes and weird like hissings and smells and stuff like that, and casks that are stored in this room. For a small, low, squat structure, they've made really effective use of the space in here. And the smell of, you recognize that smell? Here. So would you, Dave, roll 2d6 for me, please? Let's see how Gausler is going to react to you. Okay, so you step into the bigger room, like a sort of a entryway that would be like a somewhere for the garrison to sort of like store their gear and whatnot, and you make your way into what would have been the actual quarters. And there is an adult half-orc. Half-orcs are kind of tough to judge age, unless they're really ancient or really young. They sort of, all look, at around the same. So this half-orc turns towards you and looks at you, 2 of you, and then you can see he reaches down and grabs a big kind of like pry bar or something that's near him, and picks it up and holds it towards you. It says, "You best not be looking for trouble."
We came looking for ale.
Oh. Well, that we can do. What kind of ale were you looking for?
What kind do you have?
Well, and he goes through a list of, dark, light. It's effectively, this is the, the half-orc microbrewery. So he's got a wide variety. What he tells you is that he uses basically any sort of grains that are grown around here. He's tried to make beer from. So,
Nice.
so what are we talking then? A cask each then?
Yeah, we can start with that.
And are you here for trade, or is this for?
Nope. If you
Personal
have a
use.
seat, we'll finish it right here.
And he sort of looks at the two of you. He says, much as I appreciate a fan of my wares, this is delicate equipment, and perhaps the phrase bull in a china shop comes to mind.
I don't see any China.
No. In fact, I'm not sure I know what the country would be either. So he's basically what he is gently nudging you towards, like he'll sell you them, but you got to go drink this elsewhere. If you plan to partake in this in the cask and find a place to stay, I think are you heading back to up the mountains, or are you planning on staying in town?
Well, we'll be staying in town before we head up the mountains.
Oh, then, if you plan to take to enjoy all of this, you may be more welcome at the Green Apple than other available establishments.
Duly noted.
Tharma will take good care of you. Now, the two casks then will be a total of 20 gold.
Rackus will pay for both he and Oberon.
Okay. So, who do you think is carrying all the loot here? Or do you guys, because from what you said before, you guys weren't apportioning and you were going to treat it like a mercenary group. So I'm sort of picturing Rackus being like, a child approaching, a child who found a gumball machine approaching his grandparent. Halen, look at this thing. You got to give me a quarter.
Well, I think the narrative is more, I'm walking away with these casks. You should pay the man.
Okay. So, Halen, you've got all your cold weather stuff and whatnot, and you see so that once you step outside, Rackus has been sort of waiting for you to do that, and he shouts your name out. And remember, this is a pretty far distance, too. This is like, maybe a block. So from the other end of a block, Halen!
Wave at him and start walking over.
Okay. So you now find yourself 20 gold the poorer thanks to two big casks that the Bloodhoof brothers are carrying away.
What did they buy?
Beer.
Oh,
We
casks.
need beer for the journey.
And I'm gonna, as we get close, I'll toss them their cold weather gear, which is probably pretty damn heavy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For them, for sure.
I'll turn over to Halen and be like, "Why did you buy this? This will keep you so much warmer." And show off his giant cask.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll fit you.
So what do you call it? Now that you guys have your cold weather supplies, you've got your beer. Where would you guys like to head? Do you want to head into Drellin's Ferry proper?
Yeah, I think I'll tell them that the Old Bridge Inn is highly recommended as a place very comfortable.
I was told the Green Apple was the better of the two.
That's supposed to be the low end place. But if you want to go there,
Don't mind if we do. Oberon?
Oberon, do you guys have a preference one way or the other? Well, you need to get across the river first anyway.
Yeah, let's get across the river. Let's.
Let's scope them out.
All right.
Okay. So as you make your way down, you see that same dwarf he's messing around with one of the winches on the barge when you get down. And he's talking to this another dwarf who seems to be like a hireling of some kind or an employee of some kind. And he sees you coming down and he says, "Oh, you finished your shopping then? Good afternoon."
Greetings.
Good day.
We're looking to head to town.
Well, then, and he gestures to the ferry. I believe we have the correct place then. The name's Drathgar. Are you heading into town then?
Yes.
Okay, let's see how Drathgar is reacting to you guys. Nope, pretty good. He says, "Oh, right then. Is it just you? You have no animals?"
No, unfortunately not.
These two. Traveling
Well,
rough
we do
then.
have my friend. We do have my friend Rakus.
Okay. He also have his brother Oberon.
Yeah, Rakus is a bit more of an animal.
Okay. So he looks up and sort of waits to see how the Minotaurs react, and then kind of when you guys don't react poorly, he says, "Ha ha ha, a jest, of course." Then come on. It is if you're heading over, it is 2 silver per person. So it'll be I guess 8 silver in total. You guys hop on, and he's chatting with you a little bit as you're going. So where are you heading from, and where are you going?
Well, we're making our way to Brindol.
Ah, and what business do you have in Brindol? And he sort of looks. He says, "Not trade, I take it."
No, hoping to find some work.
Oh, remember, you guys are actually heading to Restwell Keep. That's your ultimate destination. You'll be
But
passing
Brindol's
through Brindol.
the next point, right?
Brindle is Brindle's the next major destination you'll get. You'll pass through a couple towns. There's Tellerton, Nymon's Gap, and I think it's called Taylor as well.
Okay.
I can take the larger, but there's a couple other towns you're passing through. Brindle is that, and then you'll be carrying on past Brindle. Says, "Oh, work. What type of worker is it? Are you craftsman of some kind?" And as you sort of you're making your way across the river as you do this.
Bladecraft. I suppose you could say that. Maybe bladecraft.
Ah, mercenaries. You would be. I hear that Overlook is the place to be for that.
We've heard about that as well, but we've decided that due to volume and other groups practicing their trade, that we would seek our fortunes elsewhere.
Ah, I see.
But I would not rule it out.
Overlook. No, we've seen many. They say this every season, but they say there's an orc horde forming.
That's where we came from, right? Originally.
It is, yeah. Yeah, and it is. Overlook is usually hit by an orc horde once every century or so. Come pouring over the mountains, and then at that time they hire anyone who can carry a blade is welcome there. Every spring there's usually rumors this is the year, it's coming, But in your all of your lifetimes, you've never experienced something like that. So, do you need any suggestions for accommodations?
We were told to go to the old Bridge Inn.
Really? They will treat you well
there. When we purchased our wares, we heard from Ben that that was a place of a good place to go.
It certainly will. They have very comfortable beds. They have hot meals and interesting live entertainment as well. I trust you. They will treat you very well there.
We're looking after many days on the road. We are looking forward to a warm bed and a warm meal.
How interesting entertainment.
You will find both there. Oh, it's just the Shadowbanks are descended from the river hen, the river halflings. They have they sing a lot. My people, we are less prone to song, so it can be
loud.
Is how I might describe it if you're not accustomed to that. But I cannot take anything away from old Kellen's beds and food, though. Even if you find the entertainment tiring, the food and beverage and accommodations will more than make up for it.
Okay, sounds good.
So, and as you guys are making your way across, you can see, you get a better view of those old the pillars that used to make up or support the bridge that went across here. And there are, it's typical of dwarven make. Having spent so much time in Overlook, you sort of recognize the hard, angular sort of artistic flourishes that are put into them. And you can see that even the top where the bridge itself was sheared away, there are erosion marks that have worn down the uneven stone, so it looks like it's been this way for quite some centuries even. Anything else you want to chit chat with this dude about, or you just want to get to town?
You just get to town.
Okay, so you guys make your way into town, and I'll give you just sort of the major things you're passing as you're making your way towards. Drathgar does give you the directions to the Old Bridge Inn. The Old Bridge Inn is number 10 on here, so it's right here. I'm pinging. If you thought to ask where the speaker would be found, that is
number 2.
Actually, number 3 is the speaker's house.
Oh, he's close by.
Number 2 is actually a big common green. It's sort of like they call it the green, but it's effectively like a bit of unspoiled greenery that still has like the native trees and stuff like that in it.
Okay.
I mean, not many. It's wide enough so there's like fields and stuff in there. It's not like this what you see across the river where 19 is. That's wild, untamed growth. The green is just a lovely sort of. They've left as many natural trees as they can, but they have provided some kind of, landscaping. It's actually quite a little pleasant little town. I mean, it's a little rustic, and certainly in comparison to Overlook, any of you with a military bent can see like this place is incredibly indefensible. Like there's no walls. There's a couple watchtowers you've spotted, but they look like they're in pretty shitty repair. You get the sense that a determined group of goblins may be able to take this place. But anyway, what you also pass is at 8 is a garrison house. You can see that as you reach the other side of the bridge, there is a guy dressed in like a chain hobart kind of chest armor. He's got a big mustache that he just is absolutely kind of twirling, and he's sort of half leaning on a spear. He's got a little like metal and leather cap on, and he steps forward as you guys are disembarking from the ferry, and he says, "Oh, good welcome, travelers. Welcome to Drellin's Ferry. What is the nature of your business here?"
We're seeking an inn on our just passing through and seeking an inn for the night.
Passing through on what business?
Traveling on the road that runs through your town.
And what business is that? Are you intentionally trying to raise this guy's suspicion, Brent, or?
No, just I don't think it's really his concern that we're walking on a road.
How do you think that towns pay for the roads, Brent?
Indentured servitude, slavery.
In a merchant town like this, taxes, maybe.
Well, my income's pretty low for an income tax.
So, getting back to my question, are you intentionally trying to like raise the guy's suspicion, or are you just going to tell him what you're actually doing?
Trying to be as vague as possible, it seems.
And again, like this guy's job is to be suspicious, so
yeah.
Oh, if he presses, I'll just say we're heading to Brindol.
And again, what's the nature of your business? Let's see here. From the backgrounds, why doesn't everyone just give me a raw intelligence check? Because I don't think anyone has any backgrounds, or you know what? No, guys, give me a streetwise check.
Streetwise.
Please.
And also, Helen's pretty new to human culture, I think, to some extent still.
You are, but you have been in Overlook, and you have worked as a mercenary, so I think you may have picked up some of this. Oh, is that a nat 20 from Helen?
Helen, yeah.
Okay, so I think that's the best result. So
you get a natural 20, get 19. Oh, you got poor.
Because I got -1.
Yeah. So what you realize, Halen, is that he's asking your business because they're going to charge a tax based on what the nature of your business. If you have goods that are going through, then they're going to charge you a tax based on that. If you're traveling through as mercenaries, they'll charge you a different, much lesser tax. I'll
tell him that we are mercenaries, but we'll pay our dues to the speaker. We have something that you'll want. Hey, Jeff, can you say something?
Sure. What?
I just want to get the echo away. I think it's your mic echoing.
Yeah, your mic's echoing pretty badly right now.
Really?
Yeah. It's a little better now. I'm not hearing it now. Oh, I started again.
Turn you guys down even a little bit more.
Okay.
We encountered some goblins on the road, and we recovered some items that may have belonged to a caravan that came by this way. Or, sorry, came from here.
His eyes get kind of big. Really?
Yes.
Well, of course, I'll take you to the speaker. And then he turns and he turns back and he says, "Did goblins? Did they have a sigil?"
They did.
Lots of severed hands.
Red hands.
He looks concerned. He says, "Please, this way," and he hustles you up the hill. Down. You pass a couple people in town because it's late afternoon. There's maybe a couple people sort of lounging in the greenery. Not a huge amount. Like if you picture a town of maybe 300 or 400 people, that's the amount that are sort of loitering around. There's kids in the green, and seeing this unusual group of people being hustled along the road. You're drawing some attention from people as they go past. And you hear someone shout out, "Hursk, are we under attack?" And he says, "No, but they encountered the Red Hand." And he doesn't really stop to chat with this guy any further, but keeps making his way along the road as long as you're following him. You're led up to the speaker's house, and the speaker's house is of the buildings that are in here. This one looks like probably the nicest. It also is one of the largest residences in the area. It doesn't compare to the more opulent things you saw in the richer quarters of Overlook, particularly the residences of the members of the Elsevier Consortium. But this is still pretty for a rural community. It's pretty nice.
So we know where the taxes are going.
You know where the taxes are going, absolutely. He knocks on the door, and this woman answers their door, who is probably in her maybe like early 40s. She's got a little bit of her hair is pulled back in a nice kind of like bun or braids or something, and there's some gray that's shot through her chestnut brown hair. She's got a nice but comfortable looking dress on, and she says, "Oh, Hursk, what are you?" And she says, and he kind of interrupts. He says, "I'm sorry, Tara. They need to speak with the first speaker." And he says, "Oh," or she says, "Oh, of course, I will. I'll collect." 1 second here. His first name. I'll collect Noro. He's in the orchard. In fact, why don't you just go around back? You can find him there. So Sergeant Hursk says, "Of course," and he turns and sort of like bustles his way through you guys, because I'm picturing you guys sort of standing relatively near behind him, and then he leads you around the side of the house to the back, where there are these beautiful orchards with fruit trees and whatnot, and a bunch of people working in them as well. And you see there's a man who has short, again, he looks like he's around the same age as this woman, very, very short cut hair, and a kind of a chin strap beard and a mustache, very black hair. He's got a walking stick, and he's wearing a long robe with this very fancy looking belt at the cinch at the waist. And he is talking to one of the people who's dressed in like the a gardener's or a landscaper's kind of outfit. He looks over at you and he says something to the what do you call it, to the person he was speaking to, as if like, hold on, I got to deal with this. And Hurst comes running over and he says, first speaker. And the speaker puts his hand up and says, "All right, Hurst, what's the deal?" Or well, no, what's the deal? Well, what's the urgency? And Hurst quickly explains what you guys told him. And the first speaker turns to you guys and says, "Is this true? Did you encounter goblins on the road?"
Yes.
Marcus will actually hold up the ear of the goblin that he cut off, and hold it out to him and say, "Did you want to speak to them?"
We took care of 75 of them.
He looks a little disgusted by what you. Well, let me actually, Dave. What's your passive insight? Rackus is a 10. Okay, you're not going to pick this up. Oberon and Halen, you can both see that the speaker is successfully hiding his revulsion from Rackus, but he is kind of like, Jesus Christ, reacting to like the.
Is he revolted because of the Minotaurs or because of the severed hands?
Well, actually, you don't pick it up. Ember, you're not the most perceptive of cats, so you think he's managed to keep his composure as well. He says, "Forgive me. My name is Noro Wiston, and I am the first speaker for Drellin's Ferry. What are your names?"
I am a Halen Sky Dancer.
Halen Sky Dancer?
I am Ember.
Or actually, sorry, it was Wind Speaker. All right.
You're a traitor to your clan. Oathbreaker.
I'm just making up new clans. I joined a new one. I'm the last guy. I started my own.
Okay. Brent, you actually, I think, have the shittiest charisma of everybody. Are you sure you want to be doing all the
jokes?
Oberon is pretty badass at that, as is.
It's not so much I'm just being matter of fact. It's not so much I'm just getting to the point.
Yeah, so both Oberon and Ember are more personable characters. Halen is actually like he's quite rude.
Yep, and I'm gonna get to the point by going. I am Halen. We encountered the remains of a caravan that apparently went out from your town.
I'm picturing Halen sort of gesturing to Ember, like, "Show him, go on."
I'll present the. I'll pull out the ledger and say, "We recovered this ledger from their spoils."
He takes the ledger and he looks over this, and his face, you can see it's sort of his eyebrows furrow, and he says, they're all dead. There were no survivors.
Definitely no.
No, we did recover some personal items. Ember, you want to?
I will give out the ring and whatever other items I've collected.
So he takes those from you, and he has a look of, well, you can't do. I don't think you're able to judge necessarily what it is, but Oberon and Halen, you can. There's a bit of like perplexed. He's surprised that you guys have done something so thoughtful for this. I mean, you are a tiefling, 2 minotaurs, and an elf, none of which are generally seen as particularly helpful or friendly races in this region, right?
I'm just going to say, every time you talk about us, I keep wanting to hear walk into a bar.
We're going to walk into an end shortly.
So he says this will provide some solace for these men's widows. Thank you. That is very, very kind. I will ensure that these are taken to the correct persons. So you were just traveling to Drellin's Ferry when this occurred.
That's correct. About 3 days out.
We had another group of adventurers headed for Overlook that passed this way, and then, but that was after.
Was that
the caravan?
Was that led by a lady by the name of Swiftwind?
Yes, it was they called themselves the. Was it the something?
Free something.
Yes, the Free Riders.
Girl.
Did they?
We encountered them on the road. They had also lost one of their member to the goblins.
They lost a member to the goblins.
Yeah,
and
they were heading to Everlook.
So you succeeded where they failed.
We were more fortunate.
Huh. Strength in arms and humility are good traits for mercenaries. We owe you much. Tell me, will you be staying in Drellin's Ferry?
For a night at least.
Then you have not arranged for accommodations yet?
We have not.
And please, go to the Old Bridge Inn and tell them that we will be paying I will be paying for your stay.
That is very generous.
You have done Drellin's Ferry a great service. If it is not an imposition, I would ask that you discuss this with Captain Anitosh. I will send her to the Old Bridge Inn tonight once you've had an opportunity to refresh yourself from your travels and enjoy some of Kellen's food and drink. Is that acceptable?
Very.
You are feeling up to it then?
Yes.
Excellent. Then I won't keep you from your accommodations any longer then. Remember, tell Kellen that he's to bill me.
Will do.
And I will send Captain Anitosh over later this evening. Thank you. Again, and he turns to all of you. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
So at that episode, Sergeant Hursk sort of steps forward. He's still, once again, twisting his mustache, and he says, "Do you know your way to the Old Bridge Inn, or would you like some assistance?"
Did we pass it on the way?
We can do with some assistance.
Number 10 is the Old Bridge Inn.
That way, correct?
It is, yes. Back towards the river. On the south side of the
we
green.
would not mind the company.
Of course. Then please. So as he's walking along, he probably like ask you a little bit without trying to be rude. He's trying to get some, details about the fight with the goblins.
There was at least 100 of them.
100.
The number goes up every time.
I was wondering if anyone was going to pick up on that.
Yeah. Give me, James, give me a bluff check from Ember. His eyes go big. 100.
Though we did not kill them all.
Halen gives Ember a look, like just sort of stares at him.
So you may have defeated the full resurrected horde then. You may have saved not only us, but all of the Eastern Vale.
I wouldn't go that far.
No, we probably did.
Some got away.
Yeah. You see some got away and Rackus has already said, nope, we did it.
Rackus will
There
keep
was at
finishing
least
Ember's
one.
sentences. So when Ember says some got away, Rackus will finish with, and then we chase them down.
There are members of the Watch whose grandparents or whose parents fought the last horde. I'm sure that many of them would welcome the opportunity to buy you drinks if you would not find their company offensive.
Not at all. I think that would have been enjoyable.
Then we will. I suppose I will see you later tonight. Then, and at this point, you guys are sort of passing by. He says, "Enjoy your accommodations and welcome to town."
Thank you very much.
And he makes his way back down to the river, sort of at a bit of a trot. So you guys make your way into the Old Bridge Inn. Is a fairly large inn and quite busy as well. This time of year, there's lots of folks traveling, here and then up and down the river, or further to the east, or over the mountains to Everlook. You guys walk into the inn, and there is a bustling kind of common room off to the left, and it appears that there is stairs and leading up to accommodations further up on the right side. And then right in front of you, there's sort of a small little bar slash check-in place or station for where the staff works. At this time of day, it's a mix of travelers and a couple more well-off locals who are sitting in. And as you guys walk in, you look around and you notice that there's a lot of halflings in here. There's a bunch of them all sort of running around, and some of them are carrying trays over their head to avoid bumping into people. And then you hear sort of as you walk in, you hear a tuk, 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 like the sound of small footsteps on wood, and then this halfling who at first glance you can't tell really from their ages, but he's got more wrinkles and some gray in his hair, which makes you think he's an older one. And he steps up and he's got a nice kind of like tailored suit on, and he says, welcome to the Old Bridge Inn. Will you be staying for food? And he gestures towards the bar. Drink, or, and he gestures upstairs, will you be wanting to stay the night?
All of the above.
Wonderful, wonderful.
We spoke with Noro, and was it Noro?
Noro's his last name. The first speaker?
The first speaker, and he said that it was on him.
Really? He sort of looks, his eyebrow kind of cocks up, and he says, very well. Separate rooms, or will you be sharing?
Separate rooms, please.
I believe I can. He brings out this ledger, boom, and this thing's like the size of his chest. It's clearly something that was scaled properly for a human, and he's trying to make do with it. So I believe I've got. He flips through and he says, I can't have you adjacent, but I can fit you in because yes, that's right. Oswald left. So yes, of course. Merrick, Sorrel, and these two halflings, a man and a woman, come running over, and he says, "Please." And then the older halfling looks down and he says, "I don't. Is this the extent of your luggage?"
Yes.
He turns and
we
he sort
travel
of like,
light.
Gestures to the two halflings, like, go on. And then he sort of, leave. He says, very well, then, please. And he reaches underneath and grabs these keys for you guys, hands them out. He gives you the rooms 4, 6, 10, and 12. Uh, 10 and 12 and 4 and 6 are both next to each other. But otherwise there's rooms between. Please, make yourselves at home. If I might suggest, 10 and 12 might prove more comfortable for the. He sort of gestures at the 2 minotaurs and the larger guests.
Fair enough.
Once you make yourself at home, please, we will have. Do you want meat, cheese, wine, beer?
Meat and cheese and wine would be very pleasant after being on the road for so long.
Meat and cheese. Wonderful. We will have those waiting for you when you return downstairs. Please. I should ask, would you like baths drawn as well?
Oh, yes, please.
For you? And he looks at the 2 minotaurs and the elf.
I'll nod and sort of smirk, looking at Rakus and Oberon.
What? We bathe?
Not often.
Those come with bathing wenches. Is that correct?
That is not a service that we offer. However, if you are so inclined, perhaps I could suggest other accommodations that might be more to your expectations.
Like the stables.
I'm quite happy here. Thank you very much.
And where would those be?
There is another very fine establishment in town called the Green Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. I'll be there until it's time for bed. I'll see you then.
So you stalk out, I guess, before you really get a chance to respond. Oberon, what are you doing?
Well, I'm staying here eating.
Okay, so you guys get. We'll pick up what happens to Rakus in a moment. So you guys, you head upstairs, you get yourself comfortable, you come back down, you're fed a bunch of stuff. Are are you guys interacting with anyone else in the bar, or are you sort of keeping to yourself?
I'm thinking food, bath, and bed.
Okay. Probably by the time you have the bath, you are ready for bed as well. There is Captain Anish that's coming, or sorry, Anita. I'm sorry, or Anita. Anita.
I will stay up for a bit. I'm curious about this entertainment.
Okay. What you find is that when you get downstairs at random times, what will happen is one of the halflings will start singing, and they have these sort of, they're not like, you know what like a round is, right? Where someone starts singing and someone else joins in, and then it all sort of has that wonderful melody to it. Imagine something like that, but instead there's more improvisation to it. So it's sort of like folk singing crossed with like jazz, where they will actually be inventing the songs as they go, and they have a familiar melody, but they flow into each other too. So like it's almost like one of them will be responding to and building on the previous song, but it will build into something different while still seamlessly melding together. So it's and then that will go on for a bit, and then it'll die off, and then it'll go back to the whole crowd will clap and whatnot, and then it'll go back to normal, and then 45 minutes later, someone else will start some other thing. You also notice that the regulars sometimes get into it as well too, especially the more red-faced regulars. They'll start singing one kind of song, and then the halflings will happily join in forward as well. It's actually, for Oberon, for your empathic abilities, it's a remarkably happy place.
So he's quite happy here. I think he was intending on going to bed, but he sort of gets sucked into the atmosphere and is just enjoying it.
Yeah. Do you tuck into your cask as well, or what?
Well, no, there's probably ale here.
Oh yeah, ale aplenty that's on offer.
Yeah, so
save that for the road.
I'll save that for the road.
Okay. Okay, so is there anything until Captain Anita shows up, or is there anything else you guys want to do?
After when I've done my stuff, I'll tell them, and when the captain, I'll be in my room when the captain comes. Let me know and I'll come down.
Okay. So you tell me, Brent, how do you think Halen reacts to sleeping in beds? Because these are extraordinarily comfortable beds, but that's not how you lived, right?
Yeah, it's the normal one for me would be sleeping in the woods. Yeah. So this is sort of like a difference, and it's not like I would go into the room and flop in the bed. I'd probably go in the room and meditate, and eventually,
just sit on the bed,
sleep on the bed.
Yeah, because I think there's two ways to sort of see it. Like there's the soldier back from the war who's like, I'm used to sleeping on the hard ground and whatever, and that's the only way I can get to sleep. Or there's the holy shit, why don't our people have this stuff? Because this is awesome.
I think it's more of a sort of like it's a different culture. It's like a novelty.
Okay. So, and is it a novelty that he enjoys?
Yeah. When it's available, he wouldn't, necessarily like I need a bed, but
yeah, when
it's there, he'll make use of it.
Okay, so the combination of the hot bath and the bed, you are out like a light. So you're gonna have to have someone come wake you when you are meeting with Captain Anita.
And I'm guessing for the bath, a concept of bathtub is probably not something his tribe was probably more, river/pond or that kind of bathing. So this is like sitting in a, barrel. I guess I don't know what he would, or a cauldron maybe he would kind of liken it to.
So you're more comfortable with bathing habits similar to the Minotaurs?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
More rough living.
So
Jeff makes a good point. Did you tell them to wake you up, Brent?
Yes.
Okay. So Oberon and Ember have been enjoying things in the main room. Let's maybe just quickly transition to Rackus showing up at the Green Apple. So where the Old Bridge Inn is very fancy and well serviced, you walk into the Green Apple, and it is a much smaller. The Green Apple, incidentally, is at number 4. So right across the green over here. It is a little smaller than the Old Bridge Inn, but it really strikes you more as like a pub that happens to have a second story with rooms built into it, but not intended to be that way. The clientele here is much more salt of the earth, but there's actually many more locals here than there is at the other. So by the time you get there, Rackus, there's probably a good group of mixed dwarves, humans, and halflings who are all in the pub. So you walk in, and you hear this woman's gravelly voice. Hell's below. Where did you come from? And you look down, and there's this. All dwarves look like they're old anyway to your eyes, but there's this stocky dwarven woman with big braids that are kind of tied together at the bottom around her back. It's almost completely gray hair, but with little flecks of like orange in it still, or like red. You think that in her youth she may have been a redhead. And she sort of is like wiping her hands on this smock around her waist. Did you get lost on the way to the stables then, Big Un?
I've just come down from the Wormwood Mountains. I'm looking for ale and cheap women.
Are you looking to pay for the ale and cheap women? Or are you looking to take it on your own?
To.
Sorry?
I have coin.
Well,
I don't think you do.
Then let's start you with the on the first, and we'll talk about the latter. So she sits you down and starts plying you with liquor, and she's she doesn't. She's the kind of person who has no filter whatsoever. So she's just you can feel free to be as coarse or as blunt with her as you choose to be. After many strong drinks, she comes to the realization that like there is no one physically capable of servicing you in this town. So she does offer to provide a discount on a cow with which you can copulate.
That's awesome. I just suggested the same thing.
And I think you're deep enough in your cups where you would either react with a breaking something or a like mighty laugh about that. How do you think Rackus would respond?
Oh, he'll slam his fist out on the table and laugh out loud. And then he'll say,
yeah.
Then he'll ponder for a moment and he's like, "I'll take it."
Bring on that.
So I think what happens as you're going along, like you're. Rackus sounds. You can correct me if I'm wrong here. Like Rackus does have fairly mercurial mood swings, right? Like he can be full on rage crazy, right? But he also can have kind of he can be the joyful warrior. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean he's not an angry drunk. So if you can if you can get him in his cups, he's usually pretty good. But it's really kind of the smell of blood that will start driving him. Wow.
Okay, awesome. So what I'm picturing is that like the Green Apple has been getting busier and busier as the time is like the evening's going on, and then when the moment comes that she suggests this to you, you kind of wham hit the bar, the top of the bar, and there's just like record scratch sound, and then like the whole bar goes quiet, and then you start laughing, and then the whole bar breaks out laughing as well too. It's around this point that you guys realize it's when Captain Anita shows up, and she's dressed in a similar uniform to what Sergeant Hurst was wearing. Only she has a tabard on her that has kind of a sigil that is like three kind of what do you call it? Three stone or gray squares with a blue sort of field and a little what's like a crude version of a raft in the center. So it's a sigil for Drellin's Ferry. So she walks in and sort of looks around, and of course, like Ember and Oberon, you're very easy to make out. And she walks over towards you guys, and she says, "Forgive me, I was told that I should meet with you. My name is Sarana Anita, and I am the captain of the guard for Drellin's Ferry. May I sit?"
Absolutely. Please.
And she pulls out and sits down. And she says, the first speaker filled me in on what you accomplished, and I want to thank you for your service. But I was told there was 4 of you.
Actually, there's 5. One of our companions is not with us currently, and the other one has gone to the
Green Apple.
Green Apple Inn.
No, he's referring to me, dumbass.
What?
I'm up in the room. You were supposed to wake me up. They don't know about. They don't know about the kid.
No, they don't. But I mentioned that there are 5 of us.
Okay.
Is anyone gonna wake me up?
Yeah, actually, when Ember mentions your name, then Oberon says, "Oh shit!" and he gets up from the table and he goes to your room.
You've been clearly enjoying yourself too much. So you go and collect. Hey,
Yeah.
you've woken up. You come down as well. Ember, you and
I'm going to continue talking with her.
Yeah,
because I know Halen is blunt and to the point.
Sure. So we'll give you a couple minutes here then to just interact with her. So she says, "So I'm sorry, I didn't. The first speaker didn't provide your names."
I am Ember. And
Ember.
Yeah, my companion, the Minotaur, who went and collected one of our other numbers, his name's Eberron, and he's collecting an elf by the name of Halen. And our other member who's off at the Green Apple is his brother, another Minotaur by the name of Arrakis.
Did he not find the... My understanding was that the first speaker would pay for you to stay at the old bridge.
Yes. He was looking for alternative entertainment.
I trust that...
Halen fills in cheap whores as he comes down.
Fuck.
Is that how your character... You're lapsing into the same character you always play? I just want to see if that is what you intend to do with Halen.
Well, I guess he was a bit blunt.
Brent,
that's not blunt, but he wouldn't be crass, I guess.
Yeah, that's not being blunt. That's being a smart aleck. That's fine if that's what you want to play.
Companionship.
That you may not find much. Well, depending on I suppose what his price might be. I trust we won't have any. And she sees you sit down again, Oberon, and she says, "I trust we won't have any trouble with your brother this evening."
Well, if there is, come and wake me.
That's not reassuring.
Yeah, she doesn't look super reassured by that.
He's mostly docile. A bit loud when drunk, but that's usually the extent of it.
Good. I would hate for our gratitude to
be cut short.
Exactly. So as I was saying to your friend here, the first speaker was hoping that you may be able to provide some insight into the threat we face. There's been a great deal of disagreement as to the. Well, I'm not certain where you are from, but are you familiar with the Horde of the Red Hand?
Not overly.
20 years ago, the Horde came. Well, actually, James, you absolutely are. This is all the stuff that you knew from before. Yeah, the backstory that you knew from before, that there was this horde of goblins and hobgoblins and humanoids and ogres and whatnot that all rallied underneath this like half dragon hobgoblin who came down and razed most of the Elsyr Vale and was only thwarted sort of the last minute by a bunch of heroes who defeated them at Brindol. So you're able to sort of recount that. And she says, yes, of course. That was, of course, of my parents' generation, or all of us around here. From our parents were survivors of the razing of Drellin's Ferry slightly more than 20 years ago. But we've heard rumors lately that the goblins have been seeing more organization. And rumors have reached us of some hobgoblin chieftain whose name is Sinruth or Sinruth or something like that. Now, how many goblins did you encounter? Was it a mixed group, or were there bugbears and hobgoblins, ogres even among them?
No, just goblins.
I'll be honest with her and give her an estimate of what the true numbers were. It was like 20 or 30.
Okay. So 20 or 30 and only a... Wait, where were they based? Where did you encounter them? They were just, to remind you guys...
there was ruins.
Yeah, it was about a day north of Skull Gorge.
Okay.
One went by the name
Brindol. Yeah. We encountered them 3 days out, and it was about a day away from Skull Gorge and some ruins.
She, it looks like she's thinking for a moment. A day's north, and where specifically were they located? Had they fashioned a structure of some kind, or...
They were in some ruins. They ambushed us on the road, but when it did not work out to their favor, we tracked them back to the ruins where they were camped.
Ruins. Describe
in
for me
the ruins of an old tower.
It's an outpost of Azar Kul. Azar Kul was the half-dragon hobgoblin, and said to be a devotee of the Chaos Queen. He built, before attacking or surging out into the Elsyr Vale itself, they built their fortifications. It was a level of organization and cooperation between the humanoid tribes that we had not seen before. But his, whether through magic or force of personality, they were able to build fortifications, and from what he described, I think was one of Azar Kul's outposts. There was one near Skull Gorge, and they were using it to prey on the travelers. That is also a tactic employed by Azar Kul. It's said that Sinruth is the inheritor to Azar Kul. I truly hope that he is not. Well, that is a problem for us and not for you. Now, please, if you could describe for me once more, how did they attack? How many did they take before? And she's trying to get some kind of like idea of, you know, unit tactics and stuff like that were used to try and make her plans, I suppose, as well.
I'll explain how they set up the ambush and such.
Sure.
Most of them were archers. There were a few with wicked blades. I think 2.
And then this chieftain that you faced, Bunta, tell me about him.
Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. Was he the one that got away? That
or was he the one with the mace?
No, Bunta was the one with the big flail that Dave kept, or that Rakas kept.
Well, I'll tell her that Bunta was a warrior carrying a flail that made a noise when it was swung. Rakas, our friend who is not present right now, he kept it as a trophy.
As I understand, is your custom or their custom. What you've told, and this is probably like we're going to skip like the hour or so of conversation that you guys have had with her. Unless you have any questions of her, we'll just cut to her sort of thanking you guys and saying, like, I expect you are no doubt tired. We appreciate your efforts to not only defeat the goblins, but to return those trinkets or those keepsakes to our citizens. It's a great service you've done. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very welcome.
And she, as she's leaving, she sort of turns on her heel. If you decide that you enjoy our little town, our watch can always use additional capable members. And she sort of smirks.
We will keep that in mind.
Thank you. Please enjoy your evening. And she leaves. And that's around the time when, again, someone starts, one of the old rosy-faced, merchants in town starts singing out another one of these halfling songs, and it springs off into something new again. So tell me how Rakas's evening ends. Like, how do you see? Do we end with him in a field fucking a cow and then passing out, or what?
Well, probably in this. So he spent the remainder of the evening regaling the tavern full of people with their exploits from the mountain, so that by and large, when he's done, whoever was there has an idea of exactly what happened there, and he puts out his keepsakes like a show and tell. And here's the ear, and if you go back up there, you'll see his skin hung across the opening to their hideout, and then he'll lay out the flail, and he's like, "Check this out," and he'll whip it around his head inside the tavern.
So, I'm sort of picturing
there being goes to fuck the cow.
In like the movie, in the movie version of this, we sort of see like there's like heavy music playing over the over the scene. Probably one of those halfling like melody round kind of songs, and then we're cutting back and forth between most of the group. What's that, Bren?
After talking, after having the conversation about the goblin stuff, Dylan's feeling a bit melancholy, so he ends up going for a walk, just sort of where that small lake is across. Probably makes his way around there's a bit of a forest where it's quiet, and then just sort of perches himself in a tree for a bit, looks out of the lake, and spends a couple hours thinking about dead people.
He's so great with stealth that, I think that you can easily, maybe like at the beginning of the scene, we see him sort of like slink his way along the side and then slip out of the door without anyone noticing. And our 3 scenes we cut between are most of the group, sitting around the table at the Old Bridge Inn. Do you think either Ember or Oberon are joining in these songs?
No.
Not Ember? What about Oberon?
I don't know if he's much of a singer. Yeah, maybe a little.
The reason I think he might join in inadvertently is just because he's so empathic. It's kind of like when you're picking up the energy of a room, I guess, that he sort of can't help but So so we see them sort of. Ember is sort of like looking, I guess,
No, she's sitting back. She's enjoying, but
yeah,
not participating.
Okay, that's cool. So she sort of smiles and shakes her head a bit as Oberon joins in this song, his big booming, Minotaur voice going in. We cut to the scene of Rackus, who's now climbed on top of this table, knocking over some drinks, and still like gesturing around, describing his actions and swinging his giant flail around to the amusement of everyone in the scene. And then the halfling song turns kind of somber as someone else picks up the song and begins to sort of slow it down a bit, and we cut to see a scene of and we close this cut scene of Halen sitting in a tree, almost completely obscured, with just a small sliver of moonlight kind of illuminating him. And is he crying, Brent, or is he just like eyes filled with tears, kind of?
Yeah, more of eyes kind of filled with tears and just.
Sure,
yeah,
and looking out
into
beautiful
the water and the reflection of like maybe the moon in the water and stuff like that, and just.
Yep, and then we, I guess, to punctuate the end of the scene, we then cut to the camera pans over and we see Arrakis finishing off on the cow, and we hear a. It collapses down.
Somewhere in the distance, an elf shudders in the night.
So we cut to the next morning, and you guys are. First off, everyone regains all of their hit points, all of their healing surges, and all of your daily abilities.
Nice.
Oh, sweet.
So yeah, make sure to mark all that stuff. You've got a good rest. All of your ritual sort of amounts have reset as well. So you've got your full access to your rituals. You can commit those to your travel once you set forth again. But you guys are pretty much ready to set out for the road the next day. I think that Halen, did you sleep in the tree or did you come back to the inn?
He probably would have slept somewhat in the tree and then probably snuck back in just before morning and hopped into his bed. I think he wants anyone to know what he's doing.
Sure.
And just act normal.
You know what? Give me a stealth check, Brent. I just want to see something.
Yeah, all right. My guy.
Low number.
Yes. Low number means more story.
You got to click on your icon.
There you go. Okay. What I was rolling for is to see whether Kellen Shadowbanks actually sees you sneak in, because he's pretty cognizant of what's going in and out of his inn, right? But that's way too fucking high.
Nice.
So yeah,
he's probably distracted by all this mooing going on.
By this time in the morning, the moving is finished. So the morning comes, and I think that then Ember, you're probably the first one up. So you come down for breakfast, and Kellen Shadowbanks is already up, and there's a couple people who are up and ready to break their fast, and he sees you and he says, Miss Ember, there was a package delivered for your group last night or early this morning. And he reaches underneath the desk and he pulls out this thing, and it looks like it's wrapped in some kind of like burlap or some kind of rough fabric, and then there's actually a fairly nice ribbon that's tied around it as well. It's about it's soft, and it looks like about imagine if you like a really big towel, right? Like a big full-length body towel. If that was wrapped up in cloth, that's about the size it would be.
Okay. I will open it.
Okay. So there is a little card on it as well. That's underneath. That's tied underneath the what do you call it? Underneath the tie. You grab the card, and it is actually from the first speaker. And it just simply says a small token of gratitude from the people of Drellin's Ferry.
Okay, I'll take a look.
You open it up, and it's a. You pull it up. It's a, it's like a traveler's robe. Like a set of robes that has a bunch of. It looks very. It's like a lightish green, like not a brownish green, but like very close to that kind of color. So it's a ruddy kind of green colored. It has tons of like pockets and little like satchels and whatever else that are attached to this thing. Like it's really like the utility belt of robes. It's really quite wonderful. And you sort of, I guess as is your nature, I'm going to guess that you try to sense this thing as well using your Arcana.
Yep. Okay.
This is enchanted as well. You look at this, and so effectively what this is a +1 robe of useful things. So what you can do is, well, first off, it's magical cloth armor. So Halen and Ember will both be able to wear this. It grants you +1 to your armor class, and as a daily minor action, you can reach into one of the pockets and pull out a non-magical item worth 10 GP. And it's anything. Anything that would fit in one of the pockets, you can pull out, and the item lasts for an hour. And when it disappears, you regain the use of your power.
Cool.
So you continually pull little neat, doodads and stuff out of the the robe. So this is, it looks like there is some wear to this. So it looks like it's not something that was like they crafted for you, especially. But yeah. So if you are going to, as I said, that's both Halen and Ember wear cloth armor. So I'll let you guys decide who wants to wear that.
It's a robe.
Yep. Robe says wizard, but I don't know. It could go either way. Halen, as a melee cloth wielder, could always use AC, but
well, and that's what I was thinking. Is like aesthetically, is like it's like wearing a house coat. You're gonna be unless
I know
it's
it
like
doesn't.
Leggings.
Well, if it's more house coaty,
to be honest, it doesn't need. It can look, however. Remember that we saw plenty of people doing really amazing shit in robes in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So don't. I'm not suggesting like this. This is not. I should say, almost all the magic items that I'm going to introduce, I've intentionally designed them so that they can be useful for a couple of different people. So that you guys, but I'm also as a meta game kind of thing. You will all get the necessary stuff to stay on track with what your what the game expects your bonuses to be.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so this I'll leave it between you two guys. There likely will be more magic items showing up, but
Brent, why don't you take it? You need the AC.
All right, and then since it is like a proper robe, when something else. If something else shows up and you want the robe, then you can have it.
Sure.
Okay. So you check this thing out, Brent, and yeah, it's as I said. Like anything up to 10 GP, you can pull out of one of the pockets, and you can sort of picture there's a scene of you like trying this out, where you're pulling one thing out and putting it away, pulling one thing out, putting it away.
Is it just like stuff, or can it be edible, or?
It can't be food because it disappears. Okay. Well, it can be food, but it doesn't satisfy you because it disappears in an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, it's any small like non-magical item that you'd find. Basically, it's a utility belt. So you
cool.
can.
I'll use it to pull out stuff that remind me of my homeland or like my tribe, like I know small instruments or like incense or
sure.
You're just stuff that would sort of take the sort of. Actually, I'm not quite sure if I'll numb them. Maybe temporary numb the main, and just sort of long term make them more sad.
Okay, cool. All right, so if you guys, if there's nothing else you want to do in Drellin's Ferry, you guys are ready to set out for your next destination.
Actually, Kev.
Yeah.
Are there any tattoo parlors in town?
There are not. No, this is a town of like 300 to 400.
It's like a
What
farming
about
community.
farms and branding?
What are you trying to do?
I don't know, but I'm thinking
They will
there's
probably have
he likes
branding.
cows and there's farms, and branding is sort of like a tattoo.
Branding is something that happens with.
I'm being an
Wait,
ass.
let me think here. And then of course, I mean, like a good DM, I'm taking your ass question and trying to give a useful answer for it. Here's what I think is, you know that, I think, Ember, you know, it's just because of your history. This is farming community, which means it's not ranching. So the need to brand your animals is not really necessary. But there is ranching. Like if you, the next place that you're headed towards to the east, actually your next stop in Tarleton. Tarleton is a ranching community. So if you're looking for brands, you'll have no difficulty finding them there. What?
Because Dave might want to brand that cow just in sort of in case they're calves, and then he'll know that they're his.
Dave, what were you specific? What were you looking for?
Well, I mean, part of Access Motorcycle.
Oh, you're gonna have to straight. The mic is fucking up, Dave.
Oh, right. So part of Rex's modus operandi is to incorporate tattoos onto his body based on every significant battle that he's engaged in. So having just, had a fantastic battle with the goblins, he was going to get, I mean, if there was something available, something tattooed on him to commemorate.
Here's what I'm assuming that Oberon is doing that for you.
Oh, okay.
Because it's you described that as a cultural thing before too, and you would do it, I think, for bits of your body that you can reach, but for the ones that you cannot, I'm thinking Oberon might do that. Is that right, Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely. Oberon would do that for him.
Okay, so yeah, you wouldn't need to check out a different, hit a tat parlor or something like that. Like your tribe does that kind of stuff already, and your background, it was Bloodhoof Exile. That would absolutely fit in under that sort of description.
Cool. Okay, so Rakkus has basically added one new tattoo to him.
What does it look like?
Thematically, it kind of, I mean, still keeping to the concentric maze pattern, but he'll incorporate elements of the topography and actually the place of final battle into it.
Nice. So like Azure Cool's outpost there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
So then I guess what we're doing then is hitting the road, which means Jeff, as the guide, I need you to make an embarkation roll for me. And your embarkation roll will get, because of the way you arrived last time, you get a +1 to it. So give me a roll of a D, what does it hold? A D8 or a D12? Embarkation is a D12, please, and add 1 to it.
+1.
+1, yeah. Oh yeah, I guess you can incorporate that into the roll.
It's a 5. Oh, it's not great.
Ooh, okay, so 5. 5 indicates foul weather.
Oh God.
So
good thing we just bought new clothes.
Yeah.
So sorry, Cap, what was that new ritual we picked up? There was
but you haven't learned it yet, Brent, because remember you need to take at least a day to learn each of those.
Right, we didn't stay that long.
Yeah, so you could have stayed longer if you wanted and spent time doing that, but you might be better served doing that in Brindol. Brindol's your next end of destination or next destination. Okay, so basically what's happened overnight is that a really ugly storm front has rolled in. So when you do start setting, you set out. Even though it's spring, this is one of those like late spring, like last gasps of winter that comes in. The rain falls constantly. The wind chills to the bone. Rest is hard to find. Sleep is elusive, and every mile walked feels like 3. As a result, each member of the company suffers 1 additional level of exhaustion when you lose exhaustion.
Oh.
Do the cold weather clothing help with this? As it's
the cold weather clothing mechanically will help you with your endurance checks that you have to make as you're making your travel.
Okay.
It just means that if you fail the and actually they will benefit from this. You are glad you bought this because like this is gonna be shitty fucking travel. So you say your goodbyes to Drellin's Ferry, and Captain Anita and Sergeant Hursk both see you off. And under a parasol, both the first speaker and his wife Tara see you off as well. And you guys hit the road. So you guys depart from Drellin's Ferry. Your next destination is going to be Tarleton. Now, almost immediately after you leave, Tarleton is about, I believe it's a day's travel away. Give me a sec here. Where's my travel? Yeah, Tarleton, Tarleton will be a little more than a day. It'll be about a day and a half to get there. So you will have 1 night of camping. What you find is that the terrain changes very quickly from when you're leaving Drellin's Ferry, where it's rolling, farmland, to being very, very flat, like Canadian prairie kind of flat and barren. So, and as you're making your way closer to Tarleton, you are seeing a couple of ranches out here as well, too. I mean, only 1 or 2 in the distance between. But this is miserable fucking travel. And when you get to Tarleton, you just pass through it. Tarleton is a town that is kind of like the opposite of all the charming stuff that was in Drellin's Ferry. Tarleton is a town that thrives on a beef and leather industry, and as such, it has the reeking smell of the tanning and the dyes that are used to treat those hides. The small bit of the river that cuts close to Tarleton seems polluted and rank as you get closer to it as well. Not in like an industrial kind of way, but just like if you had effluent flowing off from a medieval business, that's what you would find there. You also find there's a ton of cattle. This place, you get closer, you can see that there are not wide open farmlands, but there's grazing lands, wide stretching areas of grazing. Tarleton itself is sort of unremarkable. It's you are able to find a place to stay, but it doesn't really afford you. It's more of like a common room where you all bed down and then go. So you're not able to get a proper rest for it. The next day, you got to Tarleton about halfway through that day, and then rather than carrying on into the night, you decided to wait. It's only a day's travel between there and Nymon Gap. But after leaving Tarleton the next day, the weather still remains shitty. But at least the surroundings get a little better. I mean, it's a little more of making your way up the hills. And you find that there are, almost immediately after you start getting to the hills, you find these massive groves of, these massive orchards, effectively. There's a massive fruit kind of industry of apples and pears and so forth that is surrounding Nymon Gap. But as I said, unfortunately, the weather itself is really, really shitty. So what I'd like you guys to do is I need an endurance check from everybody, please. Now, you're going to get a +2 to your endurance check because of your, what do you call it? Because of the cold weather gear. And is there anyone who grants bonuses to endurance checks? Oberon, I think you do actually.
Is it endurance?
Let's see, your... Yeah, Mantle of Impulsiveness. Each ally within 5 squares of you gains +2 to Endurance and Intimidate checks. So you guys will have +4 to your Endurance thanks to Oberon.
Oh, and just sort of as while we're talking bonuses, why within the 5 squares of Halen, you guys get +1 to Perception.
Yeah.
If it comes up.
21 for Ember.
Okay. So Ember is as difficult going as this. You are not fatigued.
Nice.
Halen's same thing. Oberon, same thing. Good stuff. Whew. Let's see if Rackus screws the pooch on this again.
Come on.
Rackus,
No,
drum
it's
roll.
not screw the pooch, it's screw the cow.
That's my drum roll.
All right.
Here comes Rackus. Big money. Big money.
Not working. Son of a...
Click on your icon and then do it again.
The problem between keyboard and chair?
Yep. That's where that problem lies. Hold on.
Rackus is still back in Cattletown.
Yeah. He's in post-coital cattle bliss.
Good Lord.
Let's see here, Rackus, what is going on?
I got it.
There you go. Nice, 18. Yep, no problem. So, much as the Worm's Tooth Mountains proved a difficult slog to get through, you are managing to make your way through here. Now, Naimon Gap is a... there's also chestnut trees in there. The only really memorable thing that you recall in Naimon Gap is that they've got a tavern called the Cross-Eyed Beholder. So you're able to at least get some drinks in you to warm yourself up. But again, you have to sleep on the floor, so there's not really an opportunity to really recover in any meaningful way. It's still another day on the road. So the next place you will be hitting is Taylor, but we do have something that happens in between. So
nice.
Let me move us over to here. Bum, 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 bum. You guys may have to scroll down to find yourself in your camp.
Oh, there we go.
Everyone's got themselves there. Oh, Xavier is hidden, so let me just move Xavier out of the way. Javier is missing. Boom. Okay. Now, so this is again
a surprise party for Oberon, isn't it?
This is again. So what I've done, guys, is rather than having to sit and roll and then build an encounter for each thing, what I've done is I've rolled your number of events for each journey ahead of time, and then I've rolled to see what it is. So this one is a pretty awesome one. The member of the group who is triggered this time is
It's the elf's fault. It's always the elf's fault.
Actually, it is the scout.
Well, look at yours, not mine.
Who's the scout?
So, Halen,
Shut scout.
I need you to please make a... One second.
It's the elf's fault.
It's always the elf's fault.
Would you kindly make a perception check for me, Brent?
All right.
I do 21. Okay. You guys have set up camp. It's not quite evening yet, but you have set up camp, and you're ready to sort of. I'm not sure if you guys have had a chance to zoom out too. You can see just how big this map is. because this is a impressively large map. I wanted to really go for an appropriate scale for this particular encounter.
So that's not good.
What you hear, Brent, is you hear first the sound of a single wolf's howl from somewhere off. And then you hear again, ow! This time from a different direction. Ow! Ow! Answering back from the first direction.
Is that something wolves normally do?
They are pack hunters. And it sounds like that there may be some wolves out there. Now you did, hold on, did you beat, see if you beat a hard difficulty. I think you did, but let me see here. You didn't roll a 21, did you? If you roll a 21, then your eardrums explode.
Oh,
no, I'm kidding. I saw you roll a 21. Okay, great. Yeah, you beat a hard difficulty. So, yeah, you not only hear that, you also hear it's definitely a non-human voice, strained, that cries out, Azarkul! And then you hear another in the woods, Azarkul! Azarkul! More of them are calling out. And you hear the sounds of snapping and snarling. Now, your allies don't have ears nearly as sensitive as what yours are, but you can tell that there is something coming from further down the road towards you.
I'll let everyone know what's happening.
Because you rolled so well, Brent, here's how this works for this stuff, is depending on how well you roll on when your roll is triggered, that will dictate the sort of setup for the encounter. So you guys will have an opportunity to sort of not only position yourself, but like arrange you can hide yourself, you can try and, get up in trees, you can get underneath the what do you call it? The wagons that are there. I'm assuming that you guys have found like a camp that had been like raised by some, or like left behind by some previous travelers, and that's where you chose to sort of set up your camp for tonight.
I was wondering where we got the wagon from.
Do we know about the stone structure and the stuff around us, or like? You
would have spotted that ruin, yeah. There's lots of dwarven ruins around here, so you would have seen that. So let me do my. Oh, hello! I gotta get to the right layer here. Boop. This is again my absolute favorite thing to do with Roll20. But let me get ready here. Oh yeah, there we go. You guys ready? Bump, 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 bump.
How can I minimize their pictures?
Oh,
they're there.
Oh yeah, I'm way too zoomed out. Oh, cool.
What is it?
And then instead of regular, change it to small or not, like even smaller.
Some wolves and some wolf riders.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to roll some initiative here, and then I'm going to give you guys, I think, 2 rounds before I start moving the. Oh, that's a dice roller. 2 rounds before I start moving the gobos. Let me just clear the rounds, and remember, guys, click on your token, then click on initiative, and it'll roll that for you. And I'm going to, booyah, add some extra tokens at the bottom here so I don't accidentally delete my initiative trackers.
Fucking terrible.
Ooh, Rakus, that ain't the best results.
Yeah, that was kind of shitty.
Okay.
Wait. Sorry. Token first.
Okay. Let me roll my initiatize. Or as Steve always says, initial schnizzle. right, guys. Everyone got their initiative rolled?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You good? Okay, so let me just enter the. It's 14 for him. The other guy. Ooh, that's good.
I'm just going to change positions for a second.
Thanks. Earthquake! Earthquake! And holy moly! Actually, it's a shit roll. All right, so we got our guys in order. Let's boom, get everyone set up here. I'm going to move the initiative order over here so we can see it. And actually, I need to go to the washroom very quickly, and then we will get it on. If anyone needs to grab a drink before the fight starts, I would suggest doing so now.
That's not a bad idea.
I'll be back. Oh, I unfortunately ran out of eggnog. I really wanted nog right now. All right, and just to be clear, too, guys, you're going to have 2 rounds of moon. Effectively, these guys aren't on the board just yet.
all right.
So you won't necessarily be able to target them yet. It's just a matter of what I'd suggest is maybe discuss what your strategy is going to be quickly. Like your general strategy, like if you're going to try and, have like, 2 lines of attackers or defenders, or you're going to make a, run for that, what do you call it? The stone, whatever. You're going to try and use the terrain as cover. Figure out roughly what your tactic is going to be, and then start moving your characters.
Kev, was the runes like defensible? Like, did they have enough walls to?
Well, there's walls. I mean, you haven't inspected it yet, so you don't know.
Okay.
So what do you guys think? You got. Well, I'm gonna give you precisely 1 minute to discuss it, and then I'm gonna start going into turns. So
there's high ground across from us on the other side, and a bunch of trees for cover.
You know what? Let's.
So I can't hear you, Dave. Go ahead.
No, I was saying if there's any way for us to funnel them into it, because they're kind of attacking from, like it's a 2-pronged fork, right? So if there's any way to get them funneled into a place where we can, they're kind of limited in how many are able to access us at any given time, that would be the best location, I would think.
Okay. Any of the area that has a tree in it or that has like this rise over here, that will be difficult terrain, so it'll cost you 2 to move through those hexes. Just so you're aware. So your minute is almost up. Anything else you guys want to?
Where the what is?
Where there's this like rise right there. It looks like the terrain is rising up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, that would count as double. Otherwise, I mean, like these little fern things that are all over the place, that's not going to count as difficult terrain. But anything that has a tree in it would.
So we could get up on that ledge there and fight them from the ledge.
Yeah, we'd have high ground then, or we could move to try to get to the tower.
Do it.
Oh, do it. Time's up. Start moving. So Ember, you're up first. And you just so I can, I think you may not have had your headset on, James, but you can't actually see these things yet. They're sort of, you can picture they're making their way towards the map. You have 2 rounds first. So, Amber, you're up first. What do you want to do?
Double move.
Nice. Did you remember to count the raise as or that raise round as double?
I did.
Perfect. Okay. Next up, Halen.
Yeah. Oh shit! It says I got disconnected from the server. Can you guys see what I moved?
Nope.
No, you're still. You're still where you were.
Okay, so what the hell's going on my roll 20?
Apparently, you spent your move action to get off the internet.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna try something else. I'm rolling a random dice. Let's just see if this pops up.
Okay. Hold on, Brent. You're saying you're having a problem with your internet connection? I find that hard to believe.
Come on.
Well, it's showing up that I rolled. Did you guys see the roll?
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
wait, no. Okay, so, and then James's character just moved on my screen. Has Halen moved on your guys' screen?
Yeah.
He has,
Yes.
yeah. So he's moved into those trees?
Yeah, because that's where I thought James was moving, but...
Are you trying to
in the wrong
hide?
direction?
Are you trying to hide, Brent?
No, I just thought that's where we were moving. And James's guy didn't pop up.
Okay. You can move your guy to a different spot if you like, Brent. That's fine. And then next up will be
anywhere on that ridge was the idea.
Oberon and Rakus, you guys can go ahead and move your characters too. Like we'll just...
Okay.
We don't have to do this one by one while we're waiting for
this is like
things
where
to
I
load. Yeah.
Amber moved. She's supposed to move towards the tower, and she went in the wrong direction.
Okay, there's Kitty, and then Rakus, where are you going? Oh my god, you're gonna die.
What was that?
Jesus.
Everyone's like, let's head to the ridge. Rakus runs to the tree.
Oh shit. Just as an FYI, just like in the last fight, I'm not pulling punches with these guys, so if this proves to be tactically unsound, we may end the session with you guys as prisoners of the goblins. Okay, so Oberon, you see.
So are we going to stop at the ridge or keep going to the fortification?
Well, apparently Rakus is going to engage the goblins. So, Amber, you're up next. What are you doing?
I am moving.
Rakus is screaming out as he's moving, I'm getting more tattoos!
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Boom. Double move.
Okay, and Halen, you're up next. And then Oberon.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And then it will be Rakus. Nope, Rakus is going to ping. 1 ping.
Kev, now that I'm close to the tower, does it look defensible?
Well, I don't know what you mean by defensible.
Like, does it are the walls intact?
Yeah. From where you are, you can see that. Like, it seems like there's no, there's in fact actually no entrance.
Oh, okay. Well, that would prove problematic then.
You don't look where you care. I'm trying to make sure that you're not confusing player knowledge with character knowledge. From where you are, you can't see an entrance, but you know you haven't seen.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And Rakus, were you moving anywhere, or are you?
Yeah, I actually have on mine, but.
Oh, he's getting the same error message I was getting.
Oh, there he is. Oh no. Rakus is like, oh fuck, I'm on my own. Oh, that's hysterical. Follow me, guys. Wait, where is everyone?
Guys?
Can Rakus redo his move? Like, it doesn't make sense that he would like run to a tree and then turn around and like we're supposed to be somewhat.
Listen, I'm not the one controlling Rackus.
Basically ran in a circle.
Dave, what was your thought for moving over there in the first place?
Basically, Rackus was going to head them off at the pass, like take the fork in the road.
Yeah.
But once he saw that, there was absolutely no one else that was going to stand around for that.
He moved last, so you would have seen us move.
What time of day is this?
That's completely consistent with how you're playing Rackus. It's not quite dark yet. It would be maybe like an hour before dusk when you guys were bedding down.
Because we don't really, as characters, we really don't know where those wolf riders or not. We just hear them.
You hear them from the Halen's hearing is good enough to give you a precise sort of like there's some coming from down here and there's some coming from down here. That's why I wanted to reveal all these to you. Okay, so then it is top of the round. So this is the Wolf Riders get to go first. So they have a pretty fucking good speed. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Holy shit. I'm just going to move these guys up because I think and put them in the rough position here rather than...
They're almost on you.
Yeah, you can see these things. If you zoom in, the picture that you see there, that's what they look like. These are vicious, armored, wolf steeds, I guess.
I call them deep eaters.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Holy shit! Yeah, they are. And as is expected from wolf riders, they are using flanking tactics. There we go.
There's a lot of
shitty run in separate direction tactics.
Okay. So that was the wolf riders. Next up is Ember. What are you doing?
I am 1, 2, 4. Taking a look to see what's on the other side of this.
There is an entrance there. As you can see on the map, that area right here, it's about a 10-foot entrance.
There's no windows or...
There are... No, I mean, basically what was inside here was probably made of wood, which has long since rotted away. So it's just kind of like the core... yeah. There's maybe a half-collapsed staircase inside as well.
All right, I'm doing nothing now until they get closer.
Okay, you could ready in action if you want. But remember, ready in action is if X, then Y.
Nope. Okay, I'm good for now.
Halen, you're up. What are you doing?
Hey, what is the penalty for firing a bow through... cover?
So I think that what I'm going to say, Brent, is that if there's 15 feet of cover, then you can't see them. It effectively blocks line of sight.
How high is that wall? If I got up to on top of that wall, do you think I could see them? I've got that. What I was thinking of doing is using my Wind Fury assault, flying up to the wall and pulling out my bow and turning around and firing an arrow down at one of them.
Yeah, here's what you do, Brent. You spend an action point, and that'll allow you to edit the scene, and then there will be like that. What do you call it? The staircase that I mentioned actually leads to like maybe a small ledge on the side, and that's what you'll be able to hop to. So just knock off one of your action points.
All right.
Incidentally, shit. Everyone get another action point as well because of excellent fucking role playing in Drellin's Ferry.
Sweet.
Okay. So yeah, so that's there, Brent. And in terms of seeing them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them the benefit of heavy cover, but you will be able to see. It won't block line of sight altogether.
Okay.
find the modifier. I should have taken my DM screen out. So superior cover. So effectively, it's -5 to your attack roll, and you're attacking one of the wolf riders.
Yes. So I've got a fly speed of 7.
Okay.
I think that's the ledge.
Okay.
Oh,
Once you
shit,
click on Wind Fury Assault as well.
Okay.
And remember to click it as used if it's a encounter or whatever.
Okay, give me 1 second here. No, actually.
There you go. Okay. Now, Brent, remind me, does a monk have to use both parts of their full whatever? Or can they choose to use only half?
I think they can choose to only use half, but if I chose not to attack, I would still use the encounter up.
Yeah, and that's okay, cool. Well, I guess, but I want to. Let's just say you can for now, and we'll look. Can I get you to look between game sessions, or maybe like between turns? Look at monk, and see if the full whatever if you're required to use. I think you're right, but let's just double check.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
So you fly up there. You leap, your new robe billowing behind you, and you draw your longbow out.
Yeah, and I take a shot that apparently goes pretty wild.
So where are you dropping your spear? At your feet on the top there, or?
Yeah, when I get to the top, I'll like I'd have one by flying up. I'd have one hand on the bow, one hand on the spear, and when I got up to the top, I'll drop the spear on the ledge, draw an arrow, and fire.
Okay, sounds good to me. So go ahead and make your longbow attack, please.
I did. It was the Wind Fury Assault.
No, Brent, you have to roll something differently.
No, the Windfield Assault is the one power I can use with the longbow. It's not a monk.
And you rolled a nat 1. Awesome. Okay, so unfortunately, yeah, it's a nat 1.
I did shitty.
Yeah, so I think that you fire, and what you've done is it flies past one of the goblins who's riding along, and they look up, and he goes, yeah, and cries something out like they've spotted where you guys are now. That's the effect of the critical failure. Anything else, or is it up to Oberon?
I will use my Flurry of Blows to give him the finger.
Oberon, you're up. What are you doing?
Can I hold my action or whatever until someone is close enough to attack?
Yes. You can ready an action.
Yeah. Okay. I'll ready my action.
Okay. So that's also if X then Y. So what is the condition that will trigger what action?
Well, someone who's within melee range, I will use my attack action.
Why did you guys move to the tower?
Brent, they're 3 times as fast as us.
1, 2. You can make it though, or at least get really close.
What are you talking about? Their movement is like 16.
That's a double move.
Movement is 6.
No, my movement is 5.
They made double moves.
Okay, you could move 10, and if you move 10, you'd almost be at the tower.
Guys, let's not do this as players. Let's do this as characters. So I take it Halen is shouting this down?
Yes.
Okay.
Because Ember and myself have gotten defensive positions, and I see people just stop out in the open, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you guys doing?"
Oberon, your turn. What are you doing?
Slaughtered down there.
Oberon, are you
committed? Metagame wise, this front wolf reaches the tower next turn. It takes me 2 turns.
Well, at least then we'd be together as a party.
Your brother is behind as well too. Oberon, I want your decision. Brent, no further input, please.
What? My action didn't change.
Okay, perfect. Then next up is the Hex Hurler. So he is charging forward on his wolf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so he gets there. I don't think he's within range. 1, 2, 3, 4. He actually can't. Oh, he's got cover. No, he can't see Oberon yet. So this guy is rattling, rattling along, and he's got one hand kind of wrapped through the reins of this wolf, and the other one he's carrying this kind of like crude, like almost like doll that's streaming greenish energy behind him. Azarkul, Azarkul. And then it is Rakkus' turn. What are you doing?
Rakkus will go stand beside his brother.
Okay.
Boom.
Bum, 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 bum. And Kitty.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I guess it is the... If you've got enough moves to go there, Dave, you could ready an action as well if you wanted.
Okay.
I'll let you think about that, and I'm going to move my wolves while you do that.
Sure. You know what? Rakkus will use his defender aura.
Oh, awesome. So let me set that up for you. Oops, wrong thing. There we go. Oh, no, it's... Boom. Defender aura is active. Oops, no, it's not. It's way too fucking big. Hold up.
Oh, that's good. We can ignore that.
I don't doubt.
I'm okay with that.
All right, there we go. Pushing buttons is hard. Okay, so then finish with my wolves. So these things, there are some wolves that have goblins on the back, others that just look like lean, sort of pack hunters. Kind of every monster makes the same noise when I'm DM. My slate of sound effects is pretty fucking short. Okay, so that is the end of the round then. So top of the next round is the Wolf Riders. All right, let's see here. This is the one that saw you, Brent. So I think he's gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. Ooh. So I got bad news for you, Jack. Was charging through the trees and ends up right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14. Well, actually, the other one gets caught up in the trees. He's there. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13. Oof. Okay. And this one will go straight on. 1, 2, 3, 8, and then charge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fuck. Gets just shy of you. Place these guys right around the corner here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go there. And this one's coming around there as well. Now the flankers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Oopsies. It's about there. And about there. And about there. Okay, so can you guys see where they've all repositioned themselves? It's loaded on everybody's screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So they don't actually have... Oh, you know what? They do, because they've got range attacks. So I've got 1, 2, 3 that are going to go against Oberon. Evens or odds?
Odd.
Odd. Okay. So we've got 1 against you and 2 against Dave. So against you, Dave. Miss. So one of them hurls a... actually, that's against Oberon, because there's 2 against Dave. Hurls a javelin at you, Dave. But you've activated, turned your mind to defending your brother. Your shield gets up and boom, this little, 3-foot long javelin sinks into the shield, but does not hurt you. Now against you, Rackus. Oops, how about I not roll a d12? That would help. Ooh, Rackus. 2 more attack you. And again, your shield catches them. Halen, there are one that has a line of sight to you, and one has got you've got cover against them. So against the one that has line of sight first, nope, throws it against you, Brandon. But it's clearly like the angle is just all wrong. The javelin clatters off the side. The other one, oh, and likewise, shitty rolls. I think that's
how high
everyone.
am I, Kev?
What's that? I think you're about 15 feet up.
Okay.
Okay, so that is all the attacks from the Wolf Riders. Ember, you're up next. What would you like to do?
I step around the corner,
yep,
and I blast that one with Erupting Flame.
Ooh. Why don't you click on that and let us all see what Erupting Flame does.
My staff at him and booyah.
Oh. Okay. 11 versus Fortitude. That is not going to be good enough. So you, I guess, like your aim is spoiled as you come around the corner and you shoot this gout of flame out, and the Wolf Rider sort of goes to the side, and you think you smell some burned fur, singed fur, but it does not connect with you, or doesn't connect with the thing. Any other actions? You do have action points as well.
Yeah. You know what? I'll burn an action point, and I'm going to do it again.
Okay. Go ahead and roll again. So the first one flies out. You correct your aim, and ooh, that one does hit. So that blast. Are you firing the goblin or the mount?
The mount.
The mount. Okay. Oh, you know what? He gets to shift 1 as well. Sorry, because you missed him the first time?
Yep.
So that is now on top of you.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that means I think you draw an attack of opportunity. Oh, no, because you got that... do you have the feat that allows you to cast range spells in melee? I think it's staff master or staff expertise?
Yes.
You do. Okay, awesome. So you're able to keep this guy at a distance. So yeah, then you burn his mount. Let me see. Where are you? Woof. Oh man, yeah. So actually, you burn that thing out from under him, and he falls to the ground. Give me roll 2d6. Let's see how much damage he takes as he tumbles to the ground. Ooh, wow. So he's banged up a bit. All right. That is Ember.
Hold on.
Halen, what are you doing?
Is the wolf still alive?
The wolf is not alive anymore.
Okay. Never mind.
Okay. You sort of burn right through this thing, leaving him collapsed on the ground. Halen, what are you going to do?
Because I see Ember in danger, I'm going to jump the 15 feet to the ground.
Okay.
And try and finish off the goblin for him.
Do you have a monk thing that'll let you do that jump, or do we need a
acrobatics check?
I think it's athletics, isn't it?
Acrobatics.
Isn't athletics jumping?
Pretty sure it's acrobatics. That's why I was.
You're right. I'm thinking because athletics is a strength thing. Athletics is to make the jump. Acrobatics.
Acrobatics for falling. To break a fall. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Okay.
It's to reduce damage and land on your feet.
Yeah. So Brent, go ahead and
to like jump up, and acrobatics can be to like break your fall down. I think.
Yeah. Give me an acrobatics check, Brent.
Yeah, sorry, Kev.
Oh, it's okay. So actually, Brent, I am going to require both, because you do need to make an athletics to make the jump and acrobatics to not take damage from the fall. Because you do need to traverse like 10 feet or whatever.
All right.
It'll still count just as your move, so that's fine. Nice.
Acrobatics.
Not as good. Okay. So the athletics is easy. You definitely make that leap, and you're able to position yourself basically anywhere around that goblin. And remember, he's fallen off the the wolf now.
Okay.
And the difficulty. Let's see here. 12. Yes, you did it, Brent. Okay, so yeah, and you take no damage from the fall.
Okay, that's awesome. So I see Ember being engaged by a goblin. So I run, jump up, and like the picture of my character, like leap down and try and spear him.
Okay, so that means you're going to need an extra minor action to recover your spear. So you're dropping your bow, grabbing your spear from your feet, and then leaping down, right?
Right.
Okay. So go ahead and make your attack. I'll give you +2 to your attack roll for whatever you're attacking with.
All right. And then because I will what's it called?
You have CA as well too, Brent. So you'll have +4 to the attack.
Okay,
actually,
cool.
I think
will use Dragon's Tail and see if I can knock the fucker prone.
Sure, go ahead and make your attack roll. Click on it and let's see. Ooh, you absolutely do. That's amazing. Are you applying your flurry of blows damage to him as well?
Yeah. If he's still standing, I will hit a. He'll take another 5 points of damage and be shifted 1 square closer to me.
Okay, so that means he's taking 16 points of damage. So let me. Okay, and you can knock him prone and shift him 1 square as well.
Okay, so move him 1 square closer to me, 1 square away from Ember.
Like that?
Sure.
Okay. So you batter him, and he's prone as well too. Let me.
Actually, could you move him 1 up instead of the other one, so he's not between me and the wall?
Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So and yeah, purple is prone. So yes, you leap off the battlements. You cry something out in Elvish. You bring the spear down in his vicious, carrying your weight down onto this thing, knocking it back to the ground again, and then also rolling it over a little bit to get it away from your ally. Awesome. Anything else? Or are you done?
I am done.
Oberon, what are you doing?
Okay. Oberon is going to take his fear that he feels, and he's going to channel it back at his enemies.
Nice.
And he's going to yell at them. He's just going to yell at them. You're all going to die here.
Awesome.
And then he readies an action again. If someone moves within melee, he has an attack that he's going to
for like in 2 separate battle groups.
Okay, so sorry, he's readying an action. Is that what he said?
Yeah, he's readying an attack in case someone moves within melee.
You guys have to come to me.
Okay. Then
It's not going to move down to that rider.
sure, yeah. And actually, from where you guys are, you will have +2 to your attacks because you've got superior height.
We might have to be separate.
Okay. Did you guys hear that, Brent and Dave?
Sorry?
You will have advantage. Maybe again, guys, don't chat amongst yourselves. Just either chat with the group or just hold off whatever you want to share.
We were just saying it's probably going to go poorly for us if we fight in 2 separate groups.
Right, and what I said is that you guys, from where the Minotaur brothers are, they will have +2 to attacks because they've got superior height.
Oh, okay.
So next up then is the Goblin Hex Hurler. So once again, Azarkul. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fuck, he still doesn't have line of sight to you guys. So I guess he's going to waste another turn positioning himself. So he goes scampering around here to about here, guys. And that's what the Hex Hurler is the one with the that nasty-looking magical doll that he's ready to unleash something on you guys. He seems like he's positioning himself to, unleash a curse on you. But first up is Arrakis. What are you going to do?
hold on just a second.
Sure.
You know what? Rakus will try to hit the hex hurler with his javelin.
Okay. So again, like it'll be a free action to drop your what do you call it? Your battle axe. It'll be a minor action to draw your javelin out, and then it'll be an attack roll to attack with a javelin. But you could then spend your move doing a minor and picking your battle axe back up again if you wanted.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Okay. So give me an attack roll with your javelin. Let's see if you nail this hex hurler. And I think because it's thematically cool, you didn't have the javelins in your side. You did that kind of like, you know, medieval action movie thing where you're like, chunk, and stuck them in the ground.
Nice.
Next to you, he's perked one up and let's see how you do.
Kev, how do I sorry. How
do you make the attack with a javelin? Just click on the javelin basic attack. Should be one of the first options in your powers.
Right, but how do I add +2 to that?
We just add it on afterwards.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
What the fuck have I done?
What'd you do? Did you make it big?
Oh, there we go. Okay.
He hit his powers.
Okay.
He's got that.
I have no powers. Kryptonite. Dave, quick look. Is there kryptonite? Oh, nice. Yeah, wow. So you line up this thing and this massive thick wooden javelin goes wobbling through the air and just doesn't quite connect like directly on, but takes a vicious chunk out of the side of this goblin's ribs. He is cursing your name. Okay, so that's it for Rakus, I think. Then is the wolves. I'm just gonna move my wolves up. Come on, wolves. They're moving into flanking. Watch out. Watch out, watch out. Wolves like to knock things prone. They are dangerous. Need to run through the... We'll do some after the rider here. Oops, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. And on a mechanical basis, guys, too, there is a bit of a trick with this encounter as well, which I'm going to see if you guys pick up. All right. So that is it for the wolves. That means we go to the wolf riders. All right. So the first one is going to come crashing into Rakus here. I don't think it's close enough for Oberon to trigger his attack. But this one will see how, test your merit. Oh, that's terrible. So, yeah, Dave, this thing comes in and tries to hit you with its javelin. You've sort of just collected your battle axe again, and you are easily able to knock this thing aside. Like it was probably not even going to actually connect with you. However, Oberon, this one over here does come charging in, so you will be able to use your triggered action before it goes.
Well, it's not going to do much.
Or your ready to action, I should say.
Oberon uses Battleborn Acuity.
Okay, what is that? Would you click on that and let's see what it does?
Oh, man, did he roll bad.
That's not great. That is, yeah, unfortunately, this thing is too...
I rolled a fucking 2.
Jesus.
Can I use my points to re-roll things or do anything with them?
You can, yeah. You can use your action point to re-roll that if you like.
Yeah, I think I can do better than a 2.
Yeah.
There we go.
Whoa, that is awesome. Okay. So you hammer. So are you targeting the mount or are you targeting the goblin?
I'll target the goblin.
The goblin? Okay. Good news. The goblin is a minion. So you, wow. What does this look like? It's a weapon attack. Is it a weapon attack or is it like a power?
Yeah, it's immediately. Well, it doesn't. I don't know. I'm assuming it is.
It should say on your character sheet. I think what
it says melee 1.
The description on that coming up on Roll20 says he shines like a beacon.
Yeah, that's what makes me think that maybe it's just like a manifestation of power, not an actual weapon attack. But in any event, yeah, you fucking just lash out with this, turning your fear against your enemies, and this one is just, blasted off the out of the seat of this wolf, as if he like ran into a crossbeam or a log, and you can hear the sickening crunch of his bones within his armor. And
now, pay very close attention to the effect of that attack.
Nice. Okay.
So +1 to your rolls and +3 to your damage, as long as you remain beside me.
Awesome. That is amazing. So let's give you. What color do you think that aura is, Jeff?
I think it's sort of a white glow, just like him.
Okay.
I mean, white might not work on the map, but I guess it does.
Boom. There you go. So I got a circle instead of a square, but that's fine. Okay. So then we've got another one coming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, I think this guy just saw his ally get smooshed by us, so he's just going to throw a javelin, or these two are going to throw javelins at you. One of them might have hit. Let's see here. Oberon. Oh, just barely. So Oberon, you are hit by one of them. One of the javelins you knock aside with your shield. One of them you are hit and you take 8 points of damage. Then you got one more Wolf Rider coming in here.
I have a reaction.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Let's see here. This one's a reaction. Do I roll it?
Yeah. Just click on it. It'll say Close Burst.
So until my next turn, you also have another 2 damage to your attack. Dave.
That's awesome. So Dave, you got +5
total.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So that is fucking awesome.
How much damage is the
and I think this guy wants to attack, so he's going to get in there. So Rakus, another one comes charging in and tries to skewer you with. Ooh, that does hit. Manages to get past your defenses. You take 7 points of damage. No, actually,
how much did I take?
So you take 11 points of damage, Dave. Not 7. Jeff, I think you took 8.
Holy shoot!
Just mark it on your token. And let's see here. Is that it for the? Oh, then the Wolf Rider's coming in on these guys. So Halen, one is coming charging up behind you, and is going to try and flank you. So +2 to hit. No, that is not good enough. What's your AC? Do you have any
18.
boost to your AC right now, Brent?
It's 18. Oh,
it's 18 now, right? Yeah, it's 18, right? Okay, so yeah, actually, then he misses. So thanks to your new enchanted cloak. Let's see, and this one will also. Is he going to engage you? Yeah, I think so. Oh, that hits. So this one, unfortunately, you're just being overwhelmed by too many of these things. And Brent, you take 10 points of damage. And then this one is going to try and flank, actually. So he's moving around here. And they're crying something out to the wolves, as if they're trying to get them to follow them. And then lastly, but not leastly, the other guy struggles up from the one you've already injured, Brent. He struggles up from the ground, and then he spins and wildly swings his javelin at you. Shit, and he manages to hit. And you take 9 points of damage from that. Oof. Okay, and I'll get rid of the prone. And then that is it for the Wolf Riders. Amber, you are up.
Hey.
What are you gonna do?
I'm trying to move and it won't let me.
Are you sure? I've got no invisible barriers in this one. Is your connection timing out again?
I don't think so.
I'll just move you up. Can you move yourself now? Oh, you just moved yourself.
No, that wasn't me.
I moved yourself. I moved there. Try moving yourself now. Are you able to select the token?
I selected I can get the bubbles up, but then when I try to grab it, I don't.
Where would you like to move? Maybe just ping the location. I can move it over there for you.
You know what? That's fine. I'm going to hit that. Oh.
That injured one?
Yep.
Okay.
With another erupting flame.
Nice.
So
okay.
I thrust my staff at him and let it fly.
Oh, he is dead. So you hit him again, and Brent, you turn as that he's the last one who managed to stab you. You turn around and you're about to unleash your wrath on him, and then suddenly he's just completely consumed in flame from behind, and he falls to the ground, a charred husk. Holy shit! Halen is very badly hurt, by the way, guys.
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Amber, is that it for you?
That is it.
Okay. Halen, Windspeaker, what are you doing?
I will make an attack.
Okay.
And I will use hold on. Falling Needle.
Nice.
And I will make it against the guy directly to my left.
Okay. And are you targeting the rider or the wolf?
I guess I will. Have the wolves been attacking or just the riders?
Just the riders so far.
I will attack the rider with Falling Needle.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Amazing. Okay, so you, having seen that one dropped down dead, you're able to spin around and with uncanny grace, you jut your spear back like in a reverse way, and you skewer right underneath the goblin's armored cheeks and up into his head to the point where you knock the helmet off, and then just as quickly you bring it back. So the dead goblin goes scampering forward on his wolf. Wow. Gone.
Okay, so then I will use my Fury of Blows.
Yeah.
To inflict 5 points to the other goblin.
Okay, the rider or the mount?
I will do to the rider.
Rider? Okay, that rider seems to be of sterner stuff, so you said 5 points of damage?
Right.
Okay.
And I can push him 1 square back away from me.
Okay. Wow.
And I will use a minor. I've got that healing potion, so I believe that heals 10.
Yep, that's right.
So
just take that off your sheet as well.
All right.
And then I think you've got a move left, and then if you want to spend any action points.
James, if I start moving towards the Minotaurs, are you okay?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Hold on. 2, 3, 4.
What you guys notice now that you're actually engaged with these things too, while Brent's counting that out, each of these goblins, either on their shields or on their the flank of their light-colored wolves, there is a bloody handprint, which almost gives the symbol of a bloodied hand, or a crimson fist, if you will.
Is it a left hand or a right hand?
Differs. Probably more of them are right, just by virtue of odds. Although I guess it would appear as a left. Anyway.
So it's the red right hand.
Yeah. Okay, so
Every time
Brent,
you say that,
you're done. Oberon, what are you doing?
red hand is what I think. Yeah.
Oberon, what would you like to do?
And Oberon's sleeping.
I will use. Wait, what? Didn't Dave go?
No, Rakus is after you. Dave did go. Wait,
Since
Dave
I did my super thing?
No. It's sort of Ember went, then I went, now you go, and then Dave goes.
Because, yeah, yours was a reaction. You had your turn, then you did a reaction.
Yeah, but I had a held action.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, okay. So I use my my special attack that lets Dave make a basic attack against one of the ones in front of him. It's called Fire Strike.
Yeah, so just click on that. Now, let's see here. Okay, so you need to be within melee range of your. You'll need to shift one forward, or step one forward.
What?
Because look at the thing. You target. It's the target is the enemy, and then one ally adjacent to you can make a basic melee attack against it.
Right. But Dave's the one who melee attacks them, not me.
Right, but you need to be able to target that enemy first, though, and the range of that ability is melee. So you need to be adjacent to the target that he's going to hit.
Really?
You need to be beside me, Jeff.
That seems kind of silly.
Fire Strike is a melee weapon. So you're going to have to move yourself. I mean, you got the move, so.
I don't know, but it just seems like a strange ability then.
No, it just works differently than you thought. That's all. Okay, so then Dave. Now, Jeff, did you want to augment that at all?
I don't think it's worth it.
Okay, so then Dave, make a basic melee attack. So make a battle axe attack. You have +2 to hit, I believe, or is it +1, Jeff? +1 to hit and +5 to damage.
And plus, well, you said we have +2 because of our higher ground.
Yeah, so +3 to hit in total. So go ahead and use your battle axe here, Dave. Oh, yeah, that hits. So that does 12 points of damage. Dave, were you targeting the goblin or the mount?
Oh, the goblin.
Goblin. Oh, Mignone. So you spin so the your brother channels his fear and anger into you. You feel your blood boil, and you bring that fury down through the sinews in your back, through your arm, and you crush one of these goblin riders, leaving him a bloodied heap rolling down the hill as his wolf crawls or kind of rears back and then screams and runs off. Oberon, anything else you want to do? You still got a minor if you'd like.
I'll use my minor action to maintain my...
You're awesome. Okay. Next up is the Goblin Hex Hurler. Okay, so he has positioned himself now, so he can try and do... He begins to chant and wave the doll around, and there is something that manifests here. Really vicious, clinging, oily smoke begins to erupt from the earth around you guys. And there we go. It will be around, so it's 3. So let me think here. I think this is the area here. 6 by 6. Yep, 6 by, there we go. There we go. So this whole area there, guys, begins to fill up with this clinging smoke. And enemies, so you guys take -2 to your attack rolls while you're in the zone. But it's not something that persists on its own. You can see that he is and chanting to maintain this thing. That's all he's doing. Rackus, you are up next. What are you doing?
Let's go with Frenzied Flare.
Okay.
On the one in front of me.
Nice. So +2 from the height, -2 from the vexing cloud. How long does the +1 last, Jeff? I'm trying to remember.
My +1, as long as I use a minor action to maintain it.
Oh, amazing. Okay, great. So you've got +1 to attack, +3 to damage still. That's awesome. So you do have +1 to hit still, Dave. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
Okay.
Holy shit, Nat. Whoa, that's a crit. Fuck me. So, yeah, you do 17 points of damage +3. You do 20 points of damage. Are you targeting the wolf or the rider?
Is that a good enough roll to target both?
You cannot hit both. You have to pick one. You only can hit one target.
All right, the rider.
The rider. Let's see. Ooh, he takes damage and is not down. But that is a lot of fucking damage. He's bloodied. That was your attack or standard action. You still have a move and a minor. If you choose to. You also have action points, I think, too. You got at least one.
Yeah, I think I'll. I think I'm good without the move. Yeah, you know what? My Frenzied Flare actually does come, show up under my as a minor, but that can't be right.
No, that is actually a minor thing, but that you must have hit an enemy with an attack roll this turn. Remember to check the requirements on it. So just make an attack roll now. And let's see, make sure you hit.
Okay.
So pick a. I think probably the battle axe. Yeah, your basic attack. Which is good enough. So the combined effect here is that you battered this guy, and then in a sweeping motion, you sort of bring the axe around again, and then just end this goblin. And again, the wolf goes cowering off before your mighty bellows. All right, so last up is the wolves. So I think the wolves are gonna come in. Boom, boom, boom. That's what these suckers are used for. That's a charge. Arr. And that's not a charge. That one can't attack. And yeah. Okay, so I've got, and that one can't attack either. Let's see here. I've got 1, 2. 2 on Rackus, 2 on Oberon. So 2 against Rackus. These wolves have come running in. Ooh, one's a nat 20, the other one misses. So Rackus, you take 8 points of damage, and you are knocked prone. This thing has wrenched your leg out from under you. You're purple prone. And against you, Oberon, that is shit, and that is shit. So the wolves get in, but you're able to keep them at bay by kicking and using your shield. And then the last ones are these guys over here. Yeah, that's a tasty looking mage over there. 1, 2. Ooh, and I think they can get a charge off.
They got a lot of rough terrain.
Yep.
Oh,
they're able to move through. And the damn things are so quick. Go. So only one of them, but he does get a charge on you there, Ember. So let's see. You hear from behind you, and almost too late. Oh, fuck, nat 20.
Yeah.
So you take 11 points of damage, and you're knocked prone. So it's suddenly like you don't realize this thing is even behind you until it's right at your heels, and then the thing grabs your leg, and your robe pulls you out, and you're find yourself flat on the ground, and there are 2 more wolves charging in at you. Next, the Wolf Riders. Not many of them left, actually. Jeez. So this one will carry around, I guess. And you can hurl. Oh, you're prone though.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not bloodied.
Hmm?
I was wrong.
Okay, so this is here, James, but it cannot attack you. And that one gets there because it required too much move to get to you. This thing was not pleased with you, Halen, so it's coming charging over. And these 2, I think, are going to just hurl javelins at actually at Oberon because he's standing. So
that one, because I used my falling needle. That was the one I just hit, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It was the one from.
No,
wait, never mind. It was the one I pushed back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Oberon, you are hit once, taking 6 points of damage. So one of the javelins manages to get through. The one attacking you there, Halen. No, because you're magical bonus again. It misses you, and the one is going to throw a javelin at you, Ember, but you do get +2 to your AC because of your being prone. And actually, that misses then, I think. Ooh, you're lucky. So the prone bonus you get to your AC, that's it. You're sort of down, and this javelin goes shunk and hits just next to you, just over your head. So now it is Ember's turn. What are you doing?
I am using an action point.
Okay.
I am dropping Fountain of Flame right there.
Ooh. Why don't you click on Fountain of Flame? Let's see what it does. And we'll use that attack roll against the Wolf Rider there on top. Wow. Okay. So +15 reflexes is, I believe, good enough. Let's see here. Yeah. All right. So let me just roll here. He explodes and goes flying off that thing. Roll again against the wolf. Destroys the wolf. Next wolf. Destroys that wolf. Does it affect this? How far out does it go?
No, it's burst 1.
Burst 1. Okay, so it won't affect that other Wolf Rider. All right, so you spend an action point to get a standard. You still have your normal slate of actions. And then Halen, you'll be up next.
I'm standing up. Is my move.
So it creates a zone that lasts until the end of the encounter. It's a one area zone, you said?
Yep.
Okay. And am I correct in drawing it like that?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Stand up is part of a move, or is
it's a move? It is a move. Yeah.
Okay.
5th edition, it's part of a move, but
okay. And then as my action, I'm going to do Burning Hands.
Nice. Click on that.
Hit it. So
what's the range of that? Blast 5?
Yep.
Okay, so you hit. So we'll say the first one's against the Wolf Rider.
Yep.
Oop, it hits. See if he's. Oh!
It's a crit.
Boom, he's gone. Go ahead and roll against the wolf.
Wait, is that a crit?
No.
No. Sorry. Burning Hands.
Oh, God. Okay, so you, in sort of fear, I'm guessing, you sort of lash out. There's this explosion of fire that takes out several of them. You stagger to your feet, spin around as you see them come around the corner, and then unleash your burning hands at them, scorching the other 2. Yep. I think, is that it for you?
That is it for me.
Halen, what you doing?
I will do Falling Needle on this dude.
Okay.
So.
Falling Needle's not an encounter, right? It's a.
No, that's my what's it called? That will.
Okay, sweet. Give him shit. Ooh, that definitely hits, and looks like you rolled max damage. Nicely done. All right. So that's a lot to him. I think I did that math wrong. Hold on. For sure, 23. There we go. Okay, so he's bloodied, Brent. You spin around.
I'll do another. I'll use flurry of blows to do another 5.
Okay, that's awesome. He is badly beaten up.
Okay, I will use a minor to shift away from him.
Okay. And then you still
power.
move if you like.
So yeah, and then I'll use my movement from there.
Okay.
What the fuck? James, how did you when you had the thing where you couldn't move your token? How did you fix that?
I moved it for him. I think you guys are it's your connection is timing out.
Part also too is I resetted the player video avatar location on the cog.
If you just hit refresh as well, that might fix things. Just ping where you want to go, Brent. I'll move it for you.
Okay, so shit. I just hit reload, so give me a second here.
There you
are. Then it zoomed into somewhere on the map. I will figure out where the fuck I am. And
next will be Oberon. We'll turn to Oberon. So you're just moving. So
okay,
Oberon,
yeah, I'm just moving anyway.
Okay. Oberon, what would you like to do?
What type of action is using a healing surge?
A second wind is a standard action. So that's or you can use your power because you got twice per encounter. You can use a minor action to use your power.
Right, but I have this cloak.
Oh, cloak of the wall. Are you wounded? Are you bloodied?
Oh shit! Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you could use a standard action to gain double your healing surges. So you spend 2 healing surges, you gain half your hit points back. So that'll be a standard action to do that.
And gain.
You spend
14,
2 healing
right?
surges, yeah, and you gain the benefit of both. If your healing surge rate, like if the surge value is a 7, then yeah, you'd gain 14 hit points back.
Right. Okay.
And if you really needed more heals, you could still use a minor to use one of your whatever the healing thing is.
What's that?
That's his key.
So can you substitute any of the moves or minors for each other?
Yeah, you can use you can't substitute a minor for a move, but a move can become a minor.
Jeff, right?
Nope, that's me.
Okay, I'll use one minor action to use Ardent Surge on Dave.
Okay, so click on that.
Anything that targets, like attacks you.
Rakus, and my second minor action to sustain my ability.
Sweet. So click on Ardent Surge. Dave, you're about to get some hit points back.
Yeah.
Ardent Surge. You gain Surge +4.
And you have +2 speed until your next turn.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay. So that is, there's this flare of psychic energy that swirls around Oberon. And then as you grit your teeth to Oberon, the square bracket kind of like runes on your cloak, they flare with golden energy, and you feel yourself even more invigorated than you had expected. Next up is the Hex Hurler. So he is going to sustain that Vexing Cloud. And then he's going to use on, I'm going to roll randomly here for which you guys see he dislikes the most. 1, 2, 3. Actually, Rakus is prone, so it'll be either evens or odds. Okay, so the Hex Hurler also sort of raises his other hand off the reins. There's greenish energy that swirls around, and he, launches it out at you, Halen. Let's see here. Your fortitude. Oh, he does hit your fortitude. So because your fortitude's not great. Halen, you take 9 points of damage, and you are blinded. Your sight is gone.
Good thing you're a monk.
Let's do blue for blinded. All right. So that's obviously traumatizing. Next up, Mr. Rackus, what are you doing? You're prone right now.
Because Halen was in my aura, do I get an attack of opportunity on the Hex Hurler?
Well, you need to be within range of him, right? So
I guess
no.
so. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll pick myself up, so I'm not prone anymore.
Awesome. Okay, so that's your move.
And then, seeing as I'm surrounded by assholes,
Yep.
I'm going to use Sweeping Cut.
Well, I should mention, Dave, you're surrounded by assholes, plus there are a lot of wolves.
Right. That's but I'm bump. Yeah, so I think Sweeping Cut at this juncture is appropriate.
Beautiful. Go ahead and give it a try.
Are
we waiting for it to roll there, Dave? Or
no, it showed up on mine.
Oh, did it? Okay, well, let's see here. Has it showed up anyone else's, or
nope?
What the?
It'll show up. It took its sweet time last time when you were rolling those things. What I'll do is I'm going to start going with the wolves, and maybe it'll. There we go.
It just popped up.
Well, there we go. Close burst. Each enemy in the burst you can see. There we go. Oh, 10 versus AC. Oh, do you have any action points left?
Yeah, I got one.
Why don't you re-roll that then? Spend an action point and re-roll that, because that's not great.
Alrighty.
Because that'll be a great fucking roll if... well, I guess you do need to make an attack roll. Well, hold on, actually, Dave, hold on. Let me back up. You have to make a separate attack roll against each of the wolves. So if you'd rather just see if you can hit the other wolves, you could do that. There's 2 more you could target.
Where? Okay, where are these other wolves?
So one is dead. These are minions. So one of them you smash the one that's next to Kitty. Go ahead and roll again.
So is that just what am I rolling? Just Sweeping Cut repeatedly, or?
Yes, because you have to roll a separate. You roll damage once, but you roll attacks against everything.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing. Is we're seeing you've missed one so far. You've killed one so far, and then we're going to see what the other...
I have, in fact, rolled. It's just taking a sweet-ass time coming up.
Yeah, no problem. And... Boom! Yeah, another one. So do you want to spend that action point to make one more attack on a wolf, or do you want to save that to do, like, another action? Or some other stuff?
If you take him out, then I got a clear line of sight to take the other 3 out.
Yeah, I'll
use it. Interesting you say line of sight when you're blind.
Yeah, I know. I was going to take that.
Okay, so that is yes, that is absolutely enough, Dave. So you've swept those wolves out of the ears, kicking them and hacking them with your axe, and they are gone. So then the last up is the wolves. Yeah, I think you were going to get a attack of opportunity there, Oberon, because you that wolf is running for the blind guy. So go ahead and make an attack of opportunity. Just a basic attack.
Oberon or Rackus?
Oberon.
Oh wait, actually, what?
Oberon then Rackus. So Oberon, you get an attack of opportunity. A wolf is running past you to try and get at the elf.
Oh, okay. Do I just use a normal attack for that?
Yes.
So I just click on my great axe?
Yep.
Or is there... Did you put a... Oh, yeah, okay.
Yep. Holy
Whoa.
shit, nat 20. So
max damage and max...
Holy
and
shit.
a nat 20.
So that's about as good as things can get. So you fucking annihilate that wolf. In fact, I'll let you take out 2 because that's they're minions anyway. There's one wolf attacking you then, which is just not you're wise to their tricks now, so you keep it at a distance. And then that's it for the wolves. Wolf riders are up. So one is going to charge in on the vulnerable blind guy. Rolls terribly. These 2, I think, are actually going to flee because you've taken out almost everyone. The Hex Hurler. I'm going to roll and see. Sticks around. So the Hex Hurler is... well, he's... it's not his turn anyway, but... Ember! James! Jimmy James.
He's asleep.
James, someone cast sleep on James. Oh, no.
All right.
Jeff, do you remember the session where Steve fell asleep and we couldn't wake him up?
Yeah, that was funny.
Okay,
Ember
so
strips over.
I think we figured out that he had like turned the volume down, so we couldn't really make much noise.
And I'm erupting flame on this one.
Okay, give him shit. Oh, shit. That definitely is a hit. And I think that actually, because Halen... Yep, that's enough to kill him. So, once again, this flame comes in, and Halen, you can't see it, but you can hear and feel like the sensation of heat. There's the blast, and then there's the sensation of heat as it hits you. And then it is Halen. So, you're blind right now. What would you like to do?
What is the penalties for being blind?
Well, you've got line of sight to nobody, and people laugh at you. And what else?
So it's a pretty hefty attack penalty, I guess?
Minus 10 to penalty checks. Targets have total concealment, which means they take minus 5 to hit anyone.
What is there anything I can do to get my saving throw at the beginning of the turn instead of the end of the turn?
It's actually not a saving throw.
Oh.
It'll be done at the end of the Hex Hurler's next turn, unless it hits you again.
So I'm just and total. What's the penalty on total concealment? A lot.
Minus 5. But if you're gonna try and move towards anything, Brent, I am gonna make you make a perception check at minus 10.
Oh, okay.
So, but remember, your perception's pretty good though. So that's not to say that you're not able to do it. What would you like to do? What do you think Halen would do?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was gonna run right into move straight at the Hex Hurler. It was almost in a straight line.
Okay, give me a perception check. Let's see how you do. Because your perception bonus is pretty badass. So
this might look really dumb if I run right by him.
No, but pretty daredevil-ish if you do manage to succeed. That will not do it though. So
I do have 1 action point, so I'm going to spend that so I don't look like a dumbass.
Okay.
And I will re-roll that.
Okay. Here we go. Big money. Oh, what is your perception bonus? Oh, it's only plus 7. Never mind. For some reason, I thought it was a hell of a lot better. Okay, so that means you roll a 6 then. So you end up about here, Brent.
I will attack the cart. Yeah.
Yes, you viciously attack the already damaged cart. All right. So then next up is Oberon. What are you doing? So you've recovered your breath.
I want to do a heedless charge.
What is that?
Or a goring charge, or whatever it's called.
Okay. You will be open to an attack of opportunity from that wolf.
Bring it on, wolf.
Okay. And yeah, roll a 2. So no. The wolf snaps at you, but he doesn't see you charging downhill. I'll give you the plus 2 to so you get plus 1 from charging, and I'm gonna give you plus 2 from your from the momentum of coming down the hill.
He follows me.
Yep.
Goring charge. Boom.
You knock him off his wolf. You knock him prone. So that's wow. And you've bloodied him.
Okay.
That is amazing. Give me a roll of 2d6 as well too. Let's see how much damage he takes when he falls off the wolf.
Okay, and I use my minor action to maintain my thing.
Sure. Holy shit!
11.
You killed him. So actually, like the goring charge itself didn't quite kill him, but you knocked him off, and as he fell, he kind of fell funny on his neck, cracked his neck, and the wolf cries and leaves. So the Hexhounder is dead. Dave, why don't you tell us how, like, what badass way you killed that wolf?
You know what? Rakis will do it with his horns again.
Okay,
So he'll basically charge into the wolf, all 4 limbs down, barreling towards it, and just run it through with both his horns.
that is amazing. Okay, so yeah, you fucking slaughter that thing. The last 2 Goblin Riders, they obviously spend their turns riding off, so like they're going to get away from you guys. But you've fucking massacred almost an entire like Goblin raiding party here, guys. If you're interested, so the mechanical trick that I mentioned is I decided that because I mean obviously if you fought each of these as normal monsters, it would be fucking crazy, right? So either the mount or the goblin in each situation was a minion, but I would randomly roll whatever one you chose to attack. It would be evens. It was a minion. Odds it wasn't.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it was like some of them were minions, some of them were not, and why it was important which one you were attacking.
That's pretty cool, actually, because I mean, like I think most of us had figured it out, but I mean, for myself, I just thought that it was all of the riders were minions and the wolves were not.
Yeah,
that's just how it seemed to like roll out. But
that's how it worked out for you. Yeah, and then some of the other ones, like the ones that Brent fought, were both of them ended up being non-minions, and then like almost every one that Oberon fought was a minion. So okay, so where the session will end, you guys do once again have a miserable fucking camping experience. You will go through the goblins stuff, and actually there is something you're going to find here, but I'll let you know about that between now and the next session. And our scene will end. Our session will end with you guys riding into town. Oh my gosh, I'm way out. Let's see here. Boom.
Into town.
Into Talar, and what you see at Talar is Talar actually has a little, like a keep built in it. It's a very small town, like it's about the same size as what Drellin's Ferry is. Same thing size as what 9 Minutes Gap or Tarleton is, but there's a keep in here. It's not a big and impressive kind of thing, but still, it's a keep without a. So that will be interesting to understand why that's here. Actually, Ember might be able to provide some insight. Oh, someone cast sleep on her again. Oh no. Okay, so with that, we are way over time right now. So let us call that a session here. For those listening at home, thanks so much for joining us for. I'll stop sharing. Boom. I'll log out. Boom. Thanks so much for joining us for this continuation of our D&D 4th edition campaign. We hope you've enjoyed. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me flip my camera off and on again. Come on. Set up the proper resolution. There we go. Please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will endeavor to respond in a timely fashion. If you don't have any questions, comments, or concerns, we hope to see you again in 2 weeks' time. Thanks.